Lin Fengwan had transmigrated into a novel. This realization filled her with dread. She was the protagonist's mother. Sounded impressive, right? Except she was a gold-digging social climber who'd slept her way to the top. After giving birth to the protagonist, she left him to endure 16 years of being called a bastard and bullied relentlessly. He blamed her for everything. Even after being taken in by his family, he was ashamed of having her as his mother. This humiliating part of his past was something he only ever confessed to the female lead. Though Lin Fengwan searched her inherited memories, she couldn't find a single instance where the original Lin Fengwan had treated him poorly. The kicker? This kid grew up to not only hate his mother but also become a total scumbag. He used his CEO status to take advantage of innocent girls, even resorting to rape. He was arrogant, greasy, and had a fiancée while keeping a mistress who happened to be the female lead. Lin Fengwan stared at the adorable 4-year-old in front of her, his big, watery eyes blinking up at her. She made a decision. This was hopeless. She'd just wait to die. If the original Lin Fengwan couldn't win his affection despite her dedication, what chance did she have? She had no emotional connection to this kid. Lin Fengwan sprawled on the sofa, sighing contentedly as she sank into the cushions. "Kiddo," she said, waving a hand. "Mommy's thirsty. Grab me a Coke from the fridge." The 4-year-old's large eyes widened. "Mommy," he replied earnestly, "we don't have Coke. Only milk and fruit. You said those things are unhealthy, so we never buy it." Lin Fengwan smacked her forehead. She'd forgotten. Sighing, she pulled out her wallet, extracted a red bill, and handed it to the little boy Lu Xiaoxian. "Here. Go downstairs to the convenience store and get me a case of Coke. And grab some shrimp crackers and chips too." Lu Xiaoxian pointed at himself, confusion clouding his features. "Mommy, I can't carry that much. Can't you do anything right?" Lin Fengwan sighed, hauling herself off the sofa. She patted Lu Xiaoxian's head. "Come on. Let me show you how it's done." She led him downstairs to the convenience store. Once inside, she started loading cases of Coke onto the counter like she was stocking shelves. The shopkeeper gaped at her. He'd never seen such a big spender. Miss, you want all of this?" he asked, his voice laced with awe. Lin Fengwan scanned the unfamiliar brands. Whatever. She grabbed everything that looked tasty. She had 1,000,000 yuan in hush money from that man sitting in her account. 1,000,000 yuan now was worth a lot more than it would be in 20 years. She could buy several apartments with that kind of cash. "I'll take it all," she declared grandly. The shopkeeper's jaw dropped. "Are you opening your own store?" "No, it's for me," Lin Fengwan replied, looking at him oddly. "I can't carry all this myself. Can you help me take it upstairs? I'll pay extra." No, it's my pleasure." Thrilled at the massive sale, the shopkeeper eagerly hoisted a case of Coke and dashed upstairs. Lu Xiaoxian was stunned. He stood there, momentarily bewildered. Then his face lit up with joy. His mom was finally buying snacks instead of forcing him to eat those awful healthy meals. He pressed his lips together, trying to look serious, but his raised eyebrows betrayed his excitement. He was struggling to contain his grin. Poor Lu Xiaoxian had no idea how significant this moment was. Once the shopkeeper had hauled everything upstairs, Lu Xiaoxian went home. He gazed at the overflowing fridge and the stacks of snacks and drinks piled on the floor, his eyes shining. He looked expectantly at Lin Fengwan. "Mommy, can I have a little? Just one bite." All the other kids at kindergarten had snacks, but he never did. He was so envious. Now he finally had a chance to try them. Since Mommy was eating junk food, surely she wouldn't stop him? As expected, Lin Fengwan waved a dismissive hand. "Go ahead. Don't worry about how much you eat. Just don't ruin your stomach or your teeth."
Lu Xiaoxian dovin.
He ripped open a bag of spicy strips he'd been craving for ages. The intense, artificial flavors of the oily, salty snack exploded on his tongue. Delicious. He tore open a bag of chips. These were good too. He decided today was his lucky day. He never dreamed his mom would buy so much junk food and let him eat as much as he wanted. Seeing him enjoy himself, Lin Fengwan was happy too. At this rate, she wouldn't have to cook dinner. Takeout didn't exist yet, and Lin Fengwan hated cooking. If she could feed the kid cheap snacks, that was ideal. She happily played on her phone, skipping dinner. She watched as the little boy made 3 trips to the bathroom in 2 hours. Afterward, he lay on the bed clutching his stomach, completely wiped out. Despite his suffering, Lu Xiaoxian found the experience deeply satisfying. The next day, at his request, Lin Fengwan let him fill his backpack with snacks to take to kindergarten. It was less about sharing and more about showing off. Lin Fengwan dropped him off, the 20-minute walk leaving her exhausted. The thought of making the same trek that evening and every day, twice a day, filled her with despair. Could she buy a car? And hire a driver? She pondered, her eyes glazed over. It would cost money, but she didn't need to be frugal. She had 1,000,000 yuan after all. She also knew the future trajectory of various companies. If she played her cards right, her returns would easily exceed 1,000%. Plus, she'd get annual dividends. Much better than buying real estate. So she'd buy a car. Money was no good in the grave. Who knew when she might kick the bucket anyway? She went car shopping, picked out a decent-looking model, and paid for it on the spot. Even with a car, she didn't want to do the school run. Not because she lacked time, but because she couldn't be bothered. She didn't like kids and certainly wasn't keen on expending effort on a complete stranger, especially knowing he'd grow up to be ungrateful. So, a driver it was. While wandering aimlessly, she overheard an argument. "I want to go to art school," a teenage boy shouted, tears streaming down his face. "I'll earn the money myself." He wore a white t-shirt and sported a buzz cut. His skin was tanned, but his features were handsome. Facing him were a middle-aged couple, also in tears. They looked distressed and heartbroken by their son's rebellion. "Do you think we don't want you to go?" the woman cried, her face etched with wrinkles. "But look at our situation. Your father and I, even with both our salaries, can't afford your tuition and living expenses." "But Mr. Chan said he's never seen anyone as talented as me," the boy sobbed. "If I get proper training, I can be successful. He even wrote me a recommendation letter." "Talent doesn't pay the bills," his mother wailed. "Art is a luxury we can't afford. Where will the money come from? Tell me, why can't you just listen to your father and go to a regular university? Make us proud." The boy fell silent, his head hanging as he sniffled. "Excuse me," Lin Fengwan interrupted, addressing the couple. "You want your son to go to art school, but you can't afford it, is that right?" The couple turned, unsure who she was. "Even if we could afford it," the woman said, "what kind of job would he get after graduation? Draw portraits on the street? Everyone has cameras now. Nobody needs that anymore." They had no idea how important art would become in the internet age, Lin Fengwan thought. She turned to the boy. "Look, I don't care what you study, but I need someone to drive my son to and from kindergarten. If you're interested, the job pays 800 yuan a month. You just have to pick him up and drop him off. The rest of the time is yours." The boy and his parents stared at her, speechless. 800 yuan? That was almost as much as both their salaries combined. And all he had to do was drive a kid to school? The boy was stunned. Such a generous offer seemed too good to be true. Was this woman a scammer? But he was desperate. Even if it was a prank, he had to try. He'd rather take a chance on his dream than resign himself to the mediocre life his parents envisioned. "I'll do it," he blurted out, as if afraid she'd change her mind. "My name is Zhang Mian. I'm 18, male, no bad habits. My ID number is..." Lin Fengwan was amused. Zhang Mian's name sounded familiar, but she couldn't place it. "Can you drive?" she asked. Zhang Mian couldn't, and he didn't have a license, but for this opportunity he lied. "Yes." Not many people owned cars. He remembered his art teacher had one. He could beg his teacher for lessons, then get his license. He wouldn't risk a child's safety. He knew a truck driver who could help until he had his license. Lin Fengwan nodded. She wasn't overly concerned with his honesty. "All right then," she said. "Go home and get ready. Meet me at the dealership at 3 p.m. We'll pick up the car. Then I'll take you to the kindergarten to meet the teachers and my son." "This afternoon?" Zhang Mian panicked slightly. "Is there a dress code?" "No, just wear regular clothes," Lin Fengwan said, giving him her number. Then she turned and headed home. After Lin Fengwan left, Zhang Mian became increasingly anxious. Zhang's parents had originally opposed their son going to the art academy, but now, hearing about such a high salary for so little work, they also became anxious for their son. This was a great job that even university graduates might not be able to find. University graduates might have high salaries, but their work was nowhere near as easy. So in a hurry, Zhang's father contacted a truck driver he knew well, asking him to help guide his son and to help him muddle through for the time being. For the entire morning and afternoon, Zhang Mian couldn't even master the most basic operations. He panicked. At this rate, he would be exposed on the spot. After agonizing for most of the day, with sweat soaking through his clothes, he made a bold decision. What? He fell. When Lin Fengwan received Zhang Mian's call, she was very surprised. "Yes," Zhang Mian said over the phone, his leg in a cast. He pulled the person beside him over. "I wasn't paying attention to the road when I turned, and I got hit by an electric scooter. The doctor said I need to rest for 2 weeks. Can I have my friend take my place temporarily? This is my friend, he's absolutely reliable, and he also has a driver's license." The person was still a handsome young man, dressed in a decent suit, standing tall and straight, but in reality he was trembling all over, his legs almost giving way. 800 a month just picking up the kids twice, what was this? This was a rich person. His family wasn't poor, but they had never seen such extravagant wealth. So he wore his best suit, afraid of being looked down upon. Lin Fengwan looked him up and down a few times. "Show me your driver's license." The young man handed over his license. "What's your name?" Lin Fengwan asked. "Chen Kai," the young man said. "Let's go." Without asking anything else, she took him and left. Jiang Mian and Chen Kai both breathed a sigh of relief. Chen Kai was his good buddy. Originally, his father had also introduced someone to him, but he didn't use him. He knew that letting him study at the art academy was a huge burden on his family, that was true, but they didn't want him to study at the art academy, that was also true. In their eyes, art students were unemployed upon graduation. What could art students do? Just draw portraits? With technology being so advanced now, who needed people to draw portraits? As for those internationally renowned masters, they were simply beyond their imagination. If he listened to them and used their person, he would never get his hands on the money, and he might even lose the job. They would think, with so much money, why do something else when you can spend it on art? So he sought out his best friend. He originally planned to give all the money to his best friend until he learned to drive. But his best friend knew he wanted to go to the art academy and needed money, so he refused to take it all, saying he would only take 200 for this month. Jiang Mian checked, and the driver's license exam was next month. He had to learn to drive within this month. He would practice until he dropped. A trace of madness flashed in Jiang Mian's downcast eyes. Lin Fengwan took Chen Kai to pick up the car and arrived at Lu Xiaoxuan's kindergarten. This car might not be great in other aspects, but its appearance was top-notch, cool and streamlined. As soon as it stopped, it attracted a lot of attention. Lu Xiaoxian walked out of the kindergarten and, out of habit, began to look for his mother. He couldn't find her. Strange, his mother was never late to pick him up before. He was a little confused. Then he suddenly saw a brand new private car in front of him, and the door opened. A man in a black suit, brand new leather shoes and sunglasses stepped out. After seeing him, he compared him to the photo in his hand and suddenly bowed to him. "Young master," he said. Lu Xiaoxian was stunned, and the other children who came out with him were also stunned. Then he saw his mother walk out from there. Chen Kai didn't know if he was doing the right thing, he was so nervous. He didn't know how to face this little employer, so he could only dress himself up like the drivers of rich families on TV and speak like them. After speaking, he secretly glanced at Lin Fengwan. Lin Fengwan didn't react. She walked up to the teacher, nodded at her and then walked up to Lu Xiaoxian saying, "His name is Chen Kai, and he will be the driver picking you up and dropping you off for the next 2 weeks. The original driver was Jiang Mian, but he had an accident and needs to rest for a while." Lin Fengwan dressed herself beautifully. She was never one to mistreat herself. So, in the eyes of the children, Lin Fengwan was fashionable and beautiful. The casual air in her every move exuded the air of a noblewoman. Moreover, she drove a flashy new car and had a driver, whose appearance was exactly like those of the drivers of young masters in TV dramas. There was only one truth. Oh my god, Lu Xiaoxian was actually the young master of a rich family. No wonder he brought so many snacks today, so many. The children didn't recognize any famous brands. They only knew that this aunt in front of them looked super cool. The kindergarten teacher didn't know much about famous brands either, and she had the same thoughts as the children. The children were all stunned. They all looked at Lu Xiaoxian with admiration, and Lu Xiaoxian, who still didn't understand what was going on, straightened his back a little. This was so cool. He thought that sharing snacks with the children today and being admired by them was already very cool, but he never expected that there was something even cooler waiting for him. "Mom, what about you?" His tone suddenly carried a self-important air, and he said unhurriedly. Lin Fengwan casually made an excuse. "Mom is busy and won't have time to pick you up and drop you off these days. Uncle Chen is hired by Mom to pick you up and drop you off. Don't trust anyone else's words except Uncle Chen's. No matter who comes to pick you up, you can't go with them, understand?" Lu Xiaoxian nodded heavily. Lu Xiaoxuan's mother. At this time, Lu Xiaoxuan's kindergarten teacher, Miss Xiaoya, spoke up. Her tone was a bit stern. "Please don't do things that will incite comparison among the children. Driving such an expensive car to the school can easily affect the children's values." Hearing this, Lin Fengwan was taken aback. She looked at the car in confusion, then at Miss Xiaoya, and felt it necessary to defend herself. "This car isn't expensive. I specifically went to buy it today. It's only mid-range in the 4S shop." She went to buy another car specifically to accommodate the child? Miss Xiaoya was speechless. She really wanted to ask, "What kind of car do you consider expensive? How much is this car?" she asked. 280,000, Lin Fengwan answered honestly. She really didn't think it was expensive. Her concept of prices was more than 20 years ahead of these people, and even with her memories, she was still clueless about the prices of this era. Hearing the price, Miss Xiaoya's body trembled. Oh my god, that's not expensive. That could buy an apartment in the capital. She couldn't catch her breath, and at this moment Lin Fengwan asked with a look of seeking advice. If this is expensive, then what price range do you think is appropriate for me to buy? Miss Xiaoya felt dizzy again. Buy another one. So buying a car is so trivial in your eyes? Yes, she specifically picked a mid-range car for the child. Could this be the cheapest car in your family? Miss Xiaoya felt like she couldn't take this stimulation. Lin Fengwan was deep in thought. Was this price really that expensive? She was now living in the original owner's house. The money the male lead's father gave to the original owner was basically untouched. And Lin Luoxi was not only clear about the future market trends, but she also found that this world had many overlapping companies with her real world. That made sense. The author was not a god and couldn't create a completely non-existent world. They could only modify their own world. And for these companies, Lin Fengwan knew a lot even when they started to become successful, including how much their stocks could sell for in the future. She planned to invest 500,000 yuan, and the remaining 500,000 yuan could be used to improve their lives over the years. In a few years she could just sit back and collect money, and she could continue to double her investments and get super doubled returns. This car cost more than half, which seemed quite expensive. However, buying this car was a one-time investment and she would need it sooner or later. It's not necessary, Miss Xiaoya said with difficulty. I'm just worried that the children will start comparing. Lin Fengwan thought about it, and it was indeed a problem. What if a child thought the car was cool and asked their parents to buy one? Although it wasn't her business, it would be a hassle in the long run. Then let's solve it once and for all. What do you like? Lin Fengwan asked Lu Xiaoxian. Lu Xiaoxian was stunned and immediately said, snacks and Ultraman. So the next day, the car that came to drop off Lu Xiaoxian was covered with Ultraman stickers, completely hiding the original coolness of the car. But the kindergarten children were even more envious. It was Ultraman. He had so many Ultraman stickers, enough to cover a whole car. Envy. Jealousy. Lu Xiaoxian was also very satisfied with his new car. He walked into the classroom with his chest puffed out, head held high, and a faint smile on his lips. Envious. Jealous. Then be envious. He never thought his mom would agree to him sticking these things on the car, and even when he went overboard and wanted to stick them all over the refrigerator, his mom didn't stop him. His mom used to dislike these things a lot. And most importantly, he ate a lot of snacks again last night, but he didn't have diarrhea anymore, ha ha ha. He brought a lot of snacks again today. Children of this age didn't have so many schemes. Lu Xiaoxian had already shown off enough yesterday. What he brought today were just the snacks he had promised to give to others yesterday. After distributing the snacks, the children admired Lu Xiaoxian even more. Humans have a tendency to admire the strong. When you are 4 years old, there is a person whose status is very high and who can bring you snacks every day. What is he if not the boss? These children had all asked around, and the children in other classes didn't have such benefits. Boss, can you bring me some more of these cookies tomorrow? A child asked, holding a cookie box and looking at him with anticipation. Lu Xiaoxian was taken aback. He wasn't the kind of child who was free with his things, and in fact he had only just started to have some money to spare. He felt that this round of showing off was enough, and there was no need to do it again. Moreover, now that he thought about the things he had shared, he already felt a little pained. No, Lu Xiaoxian refused with a serious face. Why? The child was stunned. He could just ask for them yesterday. Lu Xiaoxian couldn't explain. He vaguely felt that he couldn't empty his house to supplement the children, but he didn't know why, and he was afraid that the children would gossip about him being a fake rich kid and look down on him. He was so anxious that sweat broke out on his forehead. His eyes kept scanning the classroom, and suddenly, his gaze fixed on something on the whiteboard. Little red flowers. Who? The children all turned their heads in confusion. Lu Xiaoxian had already found a way out, stumbling over his words. Do you see the little red flowers? Do you think just anyone can get a little red flower? If just anyone could get one, would you still like little red flowers? After speaking, Lu Xiaoxian clapped his hands. It's the same with snacks. My family doesn't lack snacks, but only well-behaved children can get snacks from me. I won't give snacks to badly behaved children. The right to ask me for snacks needs to be earned. That's right, that's how it is. He thought he was very smart. In the evening, when the driver came to pick him up, Lu Xiaoxian still had lingering fears. That was close, he almost couldn't fool them. Xianxian, come over here. Chen Kai saw him and walked over directly, calling him in a low voice, about to pull him into the car. Unexpectedly, Lu Xiaoxian stopped at this moment. Chen Kai looked at him and found that his bun-like face was tightly wrinkled, his eyebrows and eyes full of dissatisfaction. Who made the little young master angry? Chen Kai was surprised. Immediately afterwards, he heard the little young master's complaint. Why don't you call me young master anymore? And you're not wearing a black suit. Chen Kai suddenly understood, and then he began to feel like he didn't know whether to laugh or cry. He had been at a loss as to how to behave in front of this young master at first, but after chatting with his employer, he found that she was quite easygoing. Her family wasn't very wealthy, she had no requirements for his attire, and she even told him to dress casually. He felt that he had made a fool of himself. He heard that his employer used to pick up the child herself. Now she suddenly hired someone and paid such a high salary. It wasn't because she was foolish and had money to burn. Considering the situation at the time, it was probably because she heard about Zhang Mian's family situation and was finding an excuse to help him. She could drive the car herself, and she used to pick up the child personally. Now, by using this method to help Zhang Mian, she didn't want to damage his self-esteem or expect his gratitude. She only hoped that he could realize his dream. This was the conclusion they came to after he and Zhang Mian met last night. There was no other explanation. Zhang Mian was very moved, and the anxiety he had been feeling subsided. Chen Kai also became more relaxed. He didn't expect Lu Shaoxian to like that style. Chen Kai secretly smiled in his heart, but on the surface, he stood up straight, bowed his head and said seriously, "Yes, young master. It's my dereliction of duty. Madam was afraid that I would scare the other children, so she told me to dress casually. If you don't like it, I will change back tomorrow." Lu Shaoxian was startled and quickly waved his hand. No, it's fine the way you are." He also realized that yesterday's outfit of black clothes, black pants, black leather shoes and sunglasses was a bit scary, so he said, "You can still dress casually, just don't always wear all black. But you can continue to call me young master," he said seriously with his soft, chubby face. He felt that the title young master was simply too cool. It shouldn't disappear. Chen Kai was laughing so hard inside that he was struggling to maintain his composure, but he continued to play along. "Yes, young master." Lu Shaoxian looked at his face and felt somewhat speechless. If you can't smile, you don't have to. And don't twist your face to try to look approachable. Thus Lu Shaoxian became young master again. When he got home, he found that he was already hungry. He looked around but didn't see his mother bringing out dinner. He only saw his mother lying on the sofa playing with her phone. "Mom, I'm hungry." Lu Shaoxian went to tug on his mother. Lin Fengwan paused the game, put down her phone and said in surprise, "If you're hungry, there are snacks, aren't there?" Lu Shaoxian looked at the snacks. He had eaten too many in the past 2 days. Although there were still many he hadn't tried, he didn't really want to eat them anymore. Perhaps human nature is just like that. When there wasn't a single snack in front of him, he wanted to taste every snack in the world, but when the snacks were piled up in boxes filling up half the living room, he felt that they weren't that delicious after all. Anyway, he could get them anytime and there was no rush to eat them all at once. He had been eating nothing but snacks for the past 2 days and he was already tired of them. "Mom, I want mushroom soup, and I want scrambled eggs with tomatoes. And some meat." Lu Shaoxian hugged his mother's arm and started to sway. Lin Fengwan was in a difficult position. She didn't want to move and she didn't want to wash dishes. Oh right, there was no food in the fridge either. The fridge was now filled with all kinds of drinks. If she wanted to eat, she would have to go out and buy groceries first. "Isn't there a restaurant at the entrance of our neighborhood?" Lin Fengwan remembered. Because the original host thought it was unhygienic, they had never been there, so she immediately decided, "Let's go, we'll go out to eat." Whew. Lu Shaoxian was stunned. "What? Don't you want to go?" Lin Fengwan, who had already changed her shoes, saw him standing there, not moving. She was a little troubled. "I'd like to take you out for hot pot or barbecue, but with your stomach that gets diarrhea from eating snacks, you'd probably end up in the hospital if you ate those things. Going to the hospital is much more troublesome than eating, so it's better to wait." Hearing this, Lu Shaoxian was stunned again. Barbecue? Hot pot? What is barbecue? What is hot pot? Sounds delicious. So, his mother not only allowed him to eat out, but also allowed him to eat some delicious food? Oh my God, is he dreaming? Or was it his wish to Santa Claus last year that was being fulfilled late? The first time he went out to eat with his mother, they had shrimp dumplings. The dumplings were a bit too salty and oily, but it didn't matter. They tasted good, and he was used to eating healthy food with less oil and salt with his mother, so this just right heavy taste was incredibly delicious in his eyes. The next morning his mother bought him egg custard and custard buns. He fell in love with the custard buns the first time he ate them. He ate until his belly was round, and then with his belly full, he watched his mother smile slightly and bring over a cup of soy milk and a steamer of corn and pork buns. So fragrant. Lu Shaoxian swallowed hard. He couldn't eat anymore. He looked at the buns with a pitiful expression, and finally, with great determination, he turned his head away, not looking at his mother who was eating so deliciously. Damn it, there are too many delicious things in the world. Lu Shaoxian decided that in his lifetime, he would eat all the food in the world. He swore. However, that night, Lu Shaoxian had diarrhea again. Lin Fengwan stayed up all night with him while he got in for drip, feeling extremely annoyed. At the bedside, she yawned while scolding Lu Shaoxian. What kind of stomach do you have? You get sick from eating home-cooked food. If I gave you sashimi or rare steak, would you just vomit blood and die? It's a good thing I didn't take you to eat hot pot, or else you might have gotten a stomach bleed. Lu Shaoxian lowered his head, feeling very sad. As Lin Fengwan scolded him, he sobbed on the hospital bed, looking very pitiful. Even the doctor couldn't bear to watch anymore. Only Lin Fengwan, with a heart as hard as steel, was still thinking about being woken up in the middle of the night. Isn't it normal for children to have delicate stomachs? But how could you take a child out to eat all that junk? The doctor couldn't stand it anymore and interrupted Lin Fengwan. Lin Fengwan turned around and her face fell. What's it to you? Mind your own business. The doctor was angry. It's your fault in the first place. You don't even know what your child can and cannot eat. And then just let him be, making his stomach more and more delicate, unable to handle even a little bit of strong flavored food? Lin Fengwan interrupted the doctor. We went out to eat after we discussed it. And do you want to ask him if he wants to eat bland, oil-free, salt-free nutritional meals for the rest of his life? Hearing the words nutritional meals, Lu Shaoxuan's mind was immediately filled with the fear of being dominated by nutritional meals in the past, and he couldn't help but shudder. Shredded carrots, half a boiled egg, corn kernels and green peas mixed with rice, dry as hell mixed with ketchup, served with a fruit salad and a small piece of chicken breast. Even when proper dishes were made, they were watery and the taste was incredibly bland. Ugh, he gagged. The taste was so revolting just thinking about it. He didn't know why his mother liked that kind of stuff. It was one thing for her to eat it, but she forced him to eat it too, and she wouldn't let him touch the fragrant street food. Lu Shaoxian felt a sense of dread. He didn't want to go back to that time. I can eat it. He raised his hand and said loudly, his expression panicked and firm, his two hands tightly gripping Lin Fengwan's. Mom, I can eat it. It's just a little diarrhea. I had diarrhea the first time I ate snacks too and I'm fine now, right? Just this once my stomach is upset. I definitely won't need to be hospitalized next time. Don't make me nutritional meals. His voice was filled with an unstoppable plea, which made Lin Fengwan laugh in exasperation. She stretched out her index finger and poked the little guy's forehead. Really, I'm going through all this trouble every day to make you nutritional meals, to ensure you have a balanced diet, and it's become my fault? You ungrateful thing, do you know how much effort it takes to make such a meal? Especially since I have to change it up to make it a flavor you like. And to set an example, I have to eat it with you. From her memories, she could tell that the original host didn't like nutritional meals. She also found these things dry and tasteless, but she heard that it was good for children, so she got a nutritionist certificate and ate these things herself every day as an example. Knowing that Lu Shaoxian didn't like to eat these, she also learned to bake, making him small cakes and cookies to take to kindergarten. But Lu Shaoxian didn't appreciate it. He liked those things with colorful packaging. The original host died, unable to let go of Lu Shaoxian. Her last thought was what would happen to her child if she was gone. She didn't know that this world was actually a book, and she didn't know that even if she lived well, she wouldn't have a good ending in the future, and even her carefully raised son wouldn't treat her well. Lin Fengwan smiled, jokingly poking Lu Shaoxuan's forehead. But the little guy staggered and almost fell backward. You can't move your hand when you're getting in for. The doctor's forehead twitched. Watching the two playing around, he looked at Lu Shaoxuan's swollen hand and quickly called someone to remove the needle and reinsert it. After some effort, Lu Shaoxian made a full recovery. After recovering, Lin Fengwan gave him a cream cake, saying it was to train his stomach. This was the first level, and there were still barbecue, grilled fish, seafood, and spicy hot pot waiting for him. She was not the original host and would not wrong herself for the sake of her child. Lu Shaoxian held the cake. The last time he had diarrhea, he still had lingering fears, and he hadn't had much of an appetite these days. He looked down at the 6-inch cake in his arms and felt that he couldn't eat it, so he decided to take it to kindergarten. Wow, this cake is so expensive. My mom asked about it last time, and they said it was almost 100 yuan. The kids in the class were thrilled to see the cake, but Lu Shaoxian wasn't as happy. He had heard too many compliments these past few days and had adjusted his attitude. First, with the help of teacher Xiaoya, he cut the first slice of cake. After thinking for a moment, he realized he wasn't really interested in cake, so he handed the plated slice to teacher Xiaoya. Teacher, this is for you. Teacher Xiaoya, who was cutting the cake for the children, was taken aback. There's one for me too? Lu Shaoxian nodded affirmatively. Everyone gets one. Then he realized that the cake might not be enough. There were more than 20 children in the class, so he added, I'll bring snacks tomorrow for those who don't get any. His mom had bought a lot of snacks and put them at home for him to take as he pleased. Thank you, Lu Shaoxian. Teacher Xiaoya said, very touched. Lu Shaoxian nodded like a little adult, keeping a straight face, thinking to himself, I've given you the hush money, so you better not complain about me to my mom anymore. And so Lu Shaoxian had another very peaceful day under everyone's watchful eyes. In the evening after school, he was a bit hesitant. Mom, can I take some snacks to kindergarten to share with my classmates? He realized he was taking a bit too much now, and these snacks weren't bought by his mom for his classmates. Lin Fengwan rummaged through the snacks and pulled out a small pile. Except for these, you can take whatever you want. It's a waste to just leave them at home. Those were the snacks Lin Fengwan didn't like. She had a picky palate. After buying all the snacks, she realized there were only a few she liked. Lu Shaoxian was overjoyed and immediately bowed. Thank you, Mom. Then he carried a small box back to his room. It wasn't for eating. When he discovered that the house was full of all kinds of snacks, he wasn't that interested in eating them anymore, nor did he like them that much. These were the ones he decided to take to kindergarten the next day. There were a lot of snacks at home and it lasted for half a month. After half a month, apart from the snacks Lin Fengwan had set aside, Lu Shaoxian had taken all the rest. When he came back again, Lu Shaoxian was dumbfounded. Mom! He wrung his fingers, humming and hawing as he walked up to Lin Fengwan, trying to figure out how to start. You cleared out the inventory? Congratulations. Lin Fengwan glanced at him and clapped her hands. I stock up from the convenience store to home, and you stock up from home to school. We both contributed. Here, have some ice-cold cola. With that, she handed him a bottle of cola. Lu Shaoxian didn't take it. He looked up and asked cautiously, Can we go to the convenience store downstairs and buy some more snacks? I want to eat snacks. Do you want to eat snacks or do you want to be a young master? Lin Fengwan looked at him sideways and smiled. She had noticed Lu Shaoxian acting strange for a while, but she didn't correct him. Humans are strange creatures. When you try to do what's good for them, they always think you're restricting them. Only when they've suffered enough and broken their legs outside do they remember the things you told them clearly. Lin Fengwan didn't intend to teach him well, nor did she want to spoil him. She just watched him fall again and then let him get up on his own. Encouragement? Careful planning? None of that. Lu Shaoxian blushed at Lin Fengwan's words. Lin Fengwan didn't spare his feelings at all, and with one sentence she pierced through the facade he was unwilling to let go of. He didn't want to put on this act anymore, but after pretending for so many days, all the kids in kindergarten knew he was a young master, and he found it a bit hard to back down. I won't buy you these things anymore. As for the ones I buy, you can take them from home to school to eat, but if you want to share them with other kids like you're stocking up a store, no way. Lin Fengwan refused directly. However, you can work for me and I'll pay you. You can use that money to buy whatever you want. Lu Shaoxuan's face lit up, his heart filled with hope. Okay, sweeping the floor is 50 cents, cleaning the windows is 50 cents, running errands is 50 cents. Only the tasks I ask you to do count. If I don't ask you to do something, it doesn't count. Lin Fengwan heartlessly employed the 4-year-old. Okay. Lu Shaoxian nodded vigorously. In the eyes of the other kids in kindergarten, 50 cents was a lot of money, and Lu Shaoxian thought so too. 50 cents could definitely buy a lot of snacks. He started sweeping, mopping, cleaning windows. He worked himself to the bone, but the room was still messy, while Lin Fengwan was nestled on the sofa playing games. When he finished, Lin Fengwan came to inspect the results. One look and she was immediately dissatisfied. What have you done? It's even messier than before. She picked up a hair from the floor and held it in front of Lu Shaoxuan's eyes. Look, there's still hair on the floor you just swept. Did you sweep the air? I'm telling you it's not up to standard. If it's not up to standard, there's no money. Lu Shaoxian was stunned. He had worked for over an hour and got nothing. Immediately, tears welled up in his eyes. Lin Fengwan didn't comfort him. She just sat where he could see her watching him cry. With no one to comfort him, Lu Shaoxian stopped crying after a while. And then Lin Fengwan handed him a plastic bag full of trash. Help me throw this away, 50 cents. Hearing that there was work, Lu Shaoxian quickly took it and went downstairs to throw the trash. He got his 50 cents, ran to the convenience store downstairs, found the chocolate he promised to bring to kindergarten the next day, and then he was stunned when he saw the price, 3 yuan. He knew that 3 yuan was 6 50-cent coins, but he only had 50 cents. The convenience store owner wasn't his dad, and didn't indulge him no matter how much he begged. In the end, Lu Shaoxian returned home dejected. The next day when he was leaving, Lin Fengwan noticed that the kid was acting a bit sneaky. When he came back, she checked her snacks and found 2 chocolates missing. She had already noticed that Lu Shaoxian didn't like sweets. She laughed out of anger. This kid had come up with such a bad idea, starting to steal snacks from home. Of course it couldn't be called stealing since it was his own home, and Lin Fengwan hadn't restricted him from eating snacks. She clicked her tongue, browsed the internet, and booked 2 movie tickets. Steal a needle when you're young, steal gold when you're older. She didn't want her future vault to be emptied by someone. But she also didn't have the interest to watch Lu Xiaoxian all the time. It depended on his own realization. Lu Xiaoxuan's heart was pounding throughout the school day. He lied that the chocolate was sold out and gave his kindergarten friends another kind. His friends didn't suspect anything and even praised that this one was even better than that one. Lu Xiaoxian, however, was a bit uneasy, especially when he saw his mom outside. He was so scared that he almost fell backward. He was caught, he must have been caught. The more Lu Xiaoxian thought about it, the more panicked he became. He didn't dare to think about what would happen if his mom exposed him in front of so many people. He was so flustered that he grabbed Lin Fengwan's hand, softly called her mom. And then his little mouth didn't stop. He pulled her towards the car while constantly telling her about things that happened in kindergarten today or in the past. He wanted to divert her attention. Unexpectedly, he couldn't pull her. Lu Xiaoxuan's heart sank to the bottom. Jiangmian, come over and meet teacher Xiaoya. Lin Fengwan waved at the car. Inside, a young man came out a bit hesitantly. His name was Jiangmian and he couldn't say what he was feeling right now. Half a month ago, in order to get this job, he who couldn't drive lied that he could. Then he found a friend to replace him, pretended to be sick and went to the hospital, borrowed a relative's car to practice, and crashed the car, which cost his family over 2,000 yuan in compensation. For the past 2 weeks, he had been eating and sleeping in the car. The car was small and stuffy, but he forced himself not to get out except to use the bathroom. He even used the car to get around instead of walking. To make it more believable, he lied to his parents and took half a month off from school, falling behind in his studies. Finally, he basically learned how to drive. Although he didn't have a driver's license yet, and it was still 10 days until the exam, he was currently driving without a license. After learning to drive, he became even more panicked. He was especially afraid that Lin Fengwan would ask to see his driver's license, so he borrowed a relative's license, meticulously copied it, and made a fake one that looked so real that ordinary people couldn't tell the difference. He was also afraid of encountering traffic police on the road who would see that it was fake, so he memorized all the traffic laws and knew which streets had traffic police on duty. Still, he couldn't relax. He had gone all in. If Lin Fengwan suddenly didn't want him, he would be in a desperate situation. When Jiangmian saw Lin Fengwan, his forehead was covered in sweat. To show his confidence, he even took the initiative to show Lin Fengwan his fake driver's license. Lin Fengwan glanced at it, didn't notice anything, and the matter was over. She asked Jiangmian to drive to pick up the child. Jiangmian was afraid that the child was familiar with Chan Kai and wouldn't want him. He wanted to please the child but didn't dare to buy him snacks, fearing that he might get sick. At this moment, standing in front of Lu Xiaoxian, he was extremely nervous. He's the driver I originally hired. He hurt his leg half a month ago and has been recovering. Now that he's recovered, he'll be the one picking up Xiaoxian from now on. Lin Fengwan said, then looked at Lu Xiaoxian. Xiaoxian, remember this big brother? Lu Xiaoxian looked a little unhappy. He felt that this big brother didn't have much presence. Can you call me young master? He looked up at Jiangmian and asked. I can, Jiangmian said. Let alone young master. He would even call him second uncle if he had to. So Lu Xiaoxian smiled very happy. But thinking about what happened in the morning, he panicked again, and the smile on his face disappeared. After we go home and eat, we'll go to a movie, Lin Fengwan said. Lu Xiaoxian looked up, confused. What's a movie? You'll know when you see it, Lin Fengwan told him. After that, Lin Fengwan didn't mention anything about the 2 missing chocolates at home. She didn't notice. Lu Xiaoxian was secretly happy. At the same time, he decided that if his mom found out, he would say he ate them. Thinking this, they ate outside and went to the cinema together. The cinema was showing an ancient martial arts film that exposed political darkness and had the protagonist help overthrow the corrupt dynasty. But after watching it, Lu Xiaoxuan's face turned pale. He didn't know what national righteousness was or what satire was. He only knew that in the movie, there was an old man working for a corrupt official who stole 3 coins from the official to buy eggs for his pregnant daughter-in-law. The corrupt official cut off his hands and feet and threw him out to be fed to the dogs. After the movie, Lu Xiaoxian was trembling with fear and sobbing constantly. Let's go, let's watch the next one. Looking at the time, it was still early before 10 o'clock. So Lin Fengwan took him to another screening room. I don't want to watch anymore. Lu Xiaoxuan's voice was choked with sobs as he struggled relentlessly. Come with me. Lin Fengwan's hands were like iron, tightly wrapped around Lu Xiaoxuan's arm, and he couldn't break free no matter how hard he tried. Unable to struggle free, he was dragged by Lin Fengwan to another screening room, where an animated film was playing. Seeing the familiar animated characters, Lu Xiaoxian felt a sense of relief, and his spirit finally stabilized a little. It wasn't until a character in the film, out of jealousy, stole the female lead's gemstone necklace and shredded her dress that Lu Xiaoxuan's heart skipped a beat. This was a story about chasing dreams. The female lead had been learning ballet since she was a child. Her mother was diagnosed with stomach cancer and didn't have much time left. Before passing away, her mother wanted to see her dance on television. So the girl decided to sign up for a competition that would be broadcast on TV. Then she went through scene after scene, overcoming one obstacle after another, and finally stood on that stage, winning first place and drawing tears from the audience. But Lu Xiaoxian only felt panic. He saw the supporting character who stole things being pelted with rotten eggs and fruit, watching her cry as she was driven out of the competition. He watched her leave and only be able to watch the female lead's performance on television, with everyone knowing about her malicious intentions and pointing fingers at her. Even though the female lead forgave her in the end, the audience didn't. After the movie ended, he could still hear countless viewers wiping their tears and cursing the girl who stole. Lu Xiaoxian felt fear. Lin Fengwan glanced at the time again. Let's go, next show. I don't want to go. Lu Xiaoxian cried out in a hurry. I don't want to watch movies. I want to go home and sleep. Lin Fengwan ignored him and dragged him to leave. He struggled desperately, the intensity of his struggles growing larger and larger. His weak fingernails scratched at Lin Fengwan's arm, his face covered in snot and tears. Please, Mom. Don't make me watch anymore, I don't want to watch. Lu Xiaoxian was sobbing so hard he could barely catch his breath, but Lin Fengwan only dragged him forward. Soon, more than half of the people in the cinema were drawn to them. Seeing more and more people gathering, Lu Xiaoxian became increasingly panicked. He didn't dare to imagine what would happen if everyone here found out that he had stolen something. He could only cry even harder. He refused to move his feet, so Lin Fengwan dragged him along the floor. Lu Xiaoxian grabbed onto everything he could, not wanting to go in, but he was too weak. This little bit of strength posed no threat to Lin Fengwan. I don't want to watch anymore. Lu Xiaoxian screamed and began to kick and hit Lin Fengwan. Lin Fengwan sneered, raised her palm and slapped Lu Xiaoxian. The slap was clear and bright, stunning Lu Xiaoxian. His mother had never hit him before, and this slap really hurt. He immediately burst into tears, throwing a tantrum on the ground. Lin Fengwan didn't try to comfort him, just lazily watched him throw his tantrum. Lu Xiaoxian cried until he was tired, and the movie had already started. Some people went in to watch and others surrounded them, pointing fingers at the two of them. Are you done crying? Lin Fengwan asked. Lu Xiaoxian looked at her with some fear, not daring to speak. If you're done crying, let's go. Lin Fengwan grabbed him again, pulling him towards the screening room. Finally, someone couldn't stand it anymore. If the child doesn't want to watch, don't force him. Lu Xiaoxian looked at that person with hope, but his mother didn't care about other people's opinions. If someone tried to stop her, she would even threaten to call the police. Finally, Lu Xiaoxian broke down. He had been scared for a long time, but it was at this moment that he finally realized that no one could change his mother's mind, not even him. He burst into tears again, sobbing and intermittently shouting, Mom, I'm sorry. I shouldn't have stolen your things. Sob. I'm sorry, you can hit me. Sob. As soon as he said that, the people who had been trying to persuade them were stunned. Lin Fengwan still had no expression. You know you were wrong? Lu Xiaoxian nodded repeatedly, looking pitiful. Then let's go, we'll finish watching the movie, Lin Fengwan said. Lu Xiaoxian was completely stunned. Hadn't he already apologized? Why did he still have to watch the movie? Lin Fengwan saw through his thoughts with one glance and sneered. You were wrong, but did I forgive you? Do you think that just because you apologize, everyone in the world should forgive you and give in to you? Where did you get such a big ego? Lu Xiaoxuan's face flushed red. Come on. Keep me company while I watch the movie. No sleeping, this is your punishment, Lin Fengwan said. Don't worry about staying up too late. I've already asked teacher Xiaoya for leave. Then Lu Xiaoxian was dragged into the screening room by her. Then when will you forgive me? Lu Xiaoxian asked, blinking his big eyes. When I feel like forgiving you, Lin Fengwan said. At 10 o'clock at night, they didn't go home. They seemed to be living in the cinema. It wasn't until 10:30 that the cinema staff came to usher them out. Lin Fengwan glanced at Lu Xiaoxian. The little guy was so sleepy that he was yawning constantly. So she asked the staff, can you book the whole place overnight? How much for the night session? Lu Xiaoxian stopped mid-yawn. He had just been thinking that he could finally go home. But hearing these words, he was dumbfounded. The staff member was also stunned, doubting if they had heard correctly. What did you say? I'm booking the whole place until you open tomorrow, Lin Fengwan emphasized. I can pay double or even triple the price. At this moment, the expressions of both Lu Xiaoxian and the staff member were particularly wonderful. Lu Xiaoxian regretted it, truly regretted it, but regret was useless. Unlike Lin Fengwan, who had slept well in the afternoon, he was now incredibly sleepy. But whenever he was about to fall asleep, Lin Fengwan would wake him up, occasionally asking him what the movie was about. The later movies didn't have any scenes about catching thieves, and Lu Xiaoxuan's mind was too tired to think about anything else. At 3 in the morning, Lin Fengwan yawned and turned to look at the little guy, only to find that he had already fallen asleep. Her outstretched hand paused. Should she wake him up? Forget it. She didn't want to watch anymore either. Watching movies for 10 hours straight was already a form of torture. She stood up, rubbed her eyes, and shook the little guy awake. Get up, we're going home, Lin Fengwan said. Mom, we're going home? The little guy opened his eyes sleepily, still not fully conscious. He walked unsteadily, almost falling. Lin Fengwan held Lu Xiaoxuan's hand and walked out of the cinema. Then they bought 2 handheld pancakes from a street vendor. They were hungry. Smelling the aroma of food, Lu Xiaoxian woke up. He yawned widely, listlessly finished the meal, and then it was already past 4 when they arrived home. As soon as he entered the house, he collapsed on the sofa and fell asleep. Lin Fengwan didn't carry him to bed, just covered him with her coat, and then staggered to bed herself. At 12 noon, Lin Fengwan woke up. Lu Xiaoxian didn't. She didn't know when he would wake up, so Lin Fengwan left him a sticky note, telling him to eat biscuits if he was hungry, and then she went out to find food. A large bowl of tofu pudding with red oil and savory fried dough sticks greatly increased her appetite. Another bowl of soy milk filled Lin Fengwan's stomach completely. She also packed 2 cages of steamed buns to take home, different flavors, intending them to be lunch. When she got back, Lu Xiaoxian was still asleep. After putting down the steamed buns, Lin Fengwan went out again. Lu Xiaoxian didn't wake up until 3 in the afternoon, having slept a solid 12 hours. He yawned, groggily took a bottle of peach juice from the fridge, and saw something in the pot in the kitchen. He opened it and saw the steamed buns he had been craving the other day. His eyes immediately lit up, and he took out the steamed buns and started eating them with gusto. He was especially happy to find that there were 2 different flavors. He ate the 2 types of steamed buns mixed together, eating half of each. Then he looked up, realized his mother wasn't around, rubbed his eyes, found a stool and washed up himself. On the top freezer of the refrigerator, a yellow sticky note was quietly stuck there, unnoticed by anyone. After eating, Lu Xiaoxian was bored staying in the room and fell asleep again. He was full of energy the next day. Lu Xiaoxian, why weren't you here yesterday? Were you sick? Someone asked when he entered the classroom. No, Lu Xiaoxian said. My mom booked the whole cinema overnight and made me watch movies with her all night. I didn't wake up yesterday morning, so I didn't come to class. Cinema? Booked overnight? Although they didn't understand, it still sounded very impressive. The kindergarten children immediately had stars in their eyes. As expected of a young master. I'm actually not a young master. Lu Xiaoxian mustered up the courage to explain. We don't have servants and we don't have a big house. We only have 1 car, which my mom bought to make it easier to take me to school. We did have a lot of snacks. No, not a lot anymore, we've almost finished the ones we bought before. But you have a driver, a child in the class said. We just have an equal employment relationship, Lu Xiaoxian said. The children were a little disappointed. Teacher Xiaoya quickly tried to smooth things over. All right, everyone, let's not dwell on this anymore. Xiaoxian doesn't refuse to play with you because he's a young master, and you shouldn't refuse to play with him because he's not a young master, right? That's different, a child muttered. He's not a young master and he never was. Lu Xiaoxian lowered his head, smiled bitterly and pulled Teacher Xiaoya, who was speaking up for him. Teacher, you don't have to say anything. I did lie to them. Teacher Xiaoya sighed. She had also originally thought that Lu Xiaoxian was the young master of some wealthy family, mainly because of the car which was really expensive. But now she was a little curious. If you're not a young master, where did your family get the car? We bought it, Lu Xiaoxian said. Teacher Xiaoya was confused. Not a young master, but bought a 280,000 yuan car? At that time it seemed like they wanted to buy another one. Then why did your mom buy that kind of car? Teacher Xiaoya asked. Lu Xiaoxian didn't know either. I don't know, maybe she thinks it's cool? I asked, and my mom said we only have 1 million yuan in savings. 1 million. Teacher Xiaoya's smile instantly disappeared. How much money was that? It was money she couldn't earn even if she worked tirelessly without eating or drinking for 200 years. And that was just savings. At this moment, Teacher Xiaoya was clearly jealous. With so much money at home, and you still say you're not a young master. Lin Fengwan has been quite happy lately. Her investments in the stock market have paid off, yielding a 30% return in the first month. With a principal of 500,000 yuan and a profit of 150,000 yuan, she reinvested it all into the stock market, patiently awaiting the next month's results. There haven't been any issues with Lu Xiaoxian, so she doesn't have to worry about him. And there's someone even happier than her right now, Jiang Mian. He finally got his driver's license. A brand new legitimate driver's license. He was so excited he could jump for joy. In his excitement, he went to school to find his teacher. The teachers were already used to him skipping 2 classes every day. Since it didn't affect his grades, they didn't say anything. As soon as he entered, he overheard a conversation. Hey, do you guys know which art school is good? I heard we have to go to an art school next semester to be eligible for the art college entrance exam. I don't know, I'm still looking. They all seem so expensive. If you're going to choose one, choose a good one. Why pick a cheap one? Do you want to apply again next year? It's better to just choose an expensive one and pass the first time. But the one you mentioned is too expensive, 20,000 yuan for half a year. It was as if a bucket of cold water had been poured over him, instantly chilling Jiang Mian to the bone. Thump. The small cake he bought for his teacher with his salary fell to the ground. What are you talking about? He asked, swallowing hard, his body stiff. Seeing Jiang Mian, the two turned around surprised. You didn't know? In 3 months we have to go to an art school for training, and then when we come back we'll take the art college entrance exam. We're discussing which art school to go to. Training. Jiang Mian's voice was even stiffer. Teacher Chun hadn't mentioned this. He thought he just needed to work hard for the next year and save up for the first 2 years of college tuition. Thinking of Jiang Mian's family situation, the two students looked at each other, and one of them cautiously said, well, we just heard about it. There are also training schools that are not so expensive. Cheaper ones don't necessarily have poor teaching quality, they may just not be as famous. Some are said to have good teachers and teaching quality, and you can attend for a few thousand yuan. A few thousand yuan. Jiang Mian's face turned pale, and his eyes reddened. He finally understood why they say art is a game for the rich. In the end it was all for nothing. Are you okay? The person saw his expression change and asked nervously. I'm fine. Jiang Mian shook his head and left the classroom like a wandering soul. He walked aimlessly until he stopped at a park bench. He suddenly started laughing, and after laughing he started crying uncontrollably. After crying he started shouting. People in the park looked at him like he was a mental patient, but he didn't care. He picked up the small cake he had dropped earlier and opened it. It was a mess inside. The white cream and red strawberry jam were mixed together, completely deformed. The beautiful cream flowers looked like they had been violently torn apart, and the red stuff looked like blood. Jiang Mian picked up a fork and stabbed it into the heart of the cream flower. He started eating, taking big bites. He finished it in a few bites, then licked the packaging clean. Tears streamed down his face, falling silently. He was finished. Before coming here today, he had a big fight with his parents to decide who would manage his salary in the future. His parents were very disappointed in him and told him to get out of the house. He didn't care. He believed he could make something of himself. As long as he got into college, everything would be fine. When he graduated and had a good job and earned money, would his parents still treat him like this? Would they still say that painting was useless? That's what he thought. He had gone all in during this period and was gradually gaining confidence. But fate always likes to throw curveballs. He sat in the park for who knows how long when the alarm on his pager suddenly went off. He was startled awake and remembered it was time to pick up Lu Xiaoxian. He had bought the phone today. It wasn't a smartphone, but he felt it was inconvenient not to have a phone to communicate with his employer. Besides, he could use it when he went to college later, so he bought it. He set 2 daily alarms to remind him to pick up the child. He was about to head to his employer's house when his steps suddenly halted. He picked up his phone, typed, deleted, typed again, and finally dialed a number after a long while. The call connected. He heard his own voice, a little choked up. Kaizi, I'm done for. I really didn't know that we had to go to some school for training before the art college entrance exam. I thought I could just study on my own and take a tutoring class if I had time. Jiang Mian, what's wrong? Chun Kai's anxious voice came from the other end of the phone. Jiang Mian wanted to cry again. Although it said that men don't cry easily, he couldn't care less at this moment. I heard. They said we have to go to art school for training in 3 months. Those art schools, the cheapest ones cost several thousand yuan for half a year, and the expensive ones cost tens of thousands. I should have given up long ago. I should have listened to my parents. What was I thinking, messing with art? That's something only rich people can afford. Now I've fallen out with my parents, and I haven't been studying properly these days because I've been busy practicing. I'm done for, my life is ruined. Remember me, okay? If anything happens in the future, tell them my story so they'll learn a lesson. What are you going to do? Where are you now? Chun Kai sensed something was wrong from his words and became even more anxious. Don't do anything rash, I'll come find you right now. The art school thing isn't completely unsolvable, right? You know your employer, right? She gave you the driver position because she wanted to sponsor your education. We can go ask her. I'll swallow my pride and beg with you. Kneel on the ground and beg. Maybe she'll help you. How can I face her? Am I treating her like an ATM? Jiang Mian mocked himself. Then I'll go see her. Chen Kai immediately said. I came up with the idea, okay? Don't do anything rash, we haven't played all our cards yet. We won't know the outcome until the end. Your life isn't ruined yet. It's too early to give up now. Chen Kai kept talking, and only after confirming that Jiang Mian had given up the idea of suicide did he hang up the phone. Jiang Mian, after hanging up, was expressionless. He felt like a despicable clown. He had already decided what to do, and the moment the alarm on his phone rang, he had set his goal. Yet he called someone else, tricking his best friend into taking the bullet for him. Was it because he was afraid of being scolded for being greedy or losing his job? Or was it because it would be more credible coming from Chen Kai? Or was it simply that he didn't want to lose face in front of her? Jiang Mian didn't know. He didn't know what he was thinking. He only knew that he was a despicable person. He picked up Lu Shaoxian as usual, without mentioning anything. Lin Fengwan was stopped by someone while she was out shopping. It was Chen Kai. He was sweating profusely, panting, and his shirt was soaked. Lin Fengwan was free, so she sat down to listen to what he had to say. After listening, she smiled. If he needs help, he should come himself, not send someone else, Lin Fengwan said. Let me guess why he sent you. If I agree, it's a win-win for him. If I refuse, he can say it was your own idea and it won't affect our relationship, right? Chen Kai was stunned. He wanted to say that Jiang Mian wasn't that calculating and that he really came on his own, but Lin Fengwan didn't give him a chance to explain. She lit a lady's cigarette, held it in her mouth and slowly exhaled a puff of smoke. Tell him to come see me himself, she said. Chen Kai was at a loss. He didn't know if Lin Fengwan had agreed or not. He couldn't read any emotion on her face, as if what he had just said was just a trivial matter. Chen Kai called Jiang Mian back. Jiang Mian remembered to take Lu Shaoxian home first and then came over. He hung his head low, cautiously walked over, not daring to look at either of them. The cigarette was finished. Lin Fengwan stubbed it out and casually threw the butt into a roadside trash can. She lazily smiled. You're here. Jiang Mian made a weak sound from his throat, barely audible if you weren't paying attention. All right, you go. Lin Fengwan waved Chen Kai away. Now, only Jiang Mian was left in front of her. If a person likes to scheme against his friends, he will have no friends. If a person schemes against everyone, he will become the most unwelcome person in the world, Lin Fengwan said with a smile. There are many smart people in the world, and I don't think I'm stupid. How dare you use such crude methods on me? I don't fall for the sob story. Jiang Mian pursed his lips. Also, I don't know if you're overly confident or just lack self-awareness. Who gave you the courage to ask your boss, whom you've known for a month, to lend you a sum of money that you don't know if you can ever repay? Lin Fengwan continued. Jiang Mian felt his face burning. He felt like he had been stripped naked and thrown onto the street, with countless people pointing and gossiping about him. He wanted to run, but he didn't move. Not only that, he raised his head, and his eyes, which had been avoiding Lin Fengwan's gaze, now stared directly at her. So can you lend me some money? He asked. Lin Fengwan raised an eyebrow, thinking that this guy was indeed courageous. But it was useless. She refused without thinking. No. Jiang Mian didn't give up. He continued to stare at Lin Fengwan without blinking. Then can you teach me how to make money? Oh, Lin Fengwan blinked. Suit yourself, she said. I'm in finance. Do you understand finance? I can learn, Lin Fengwan said. 3 months left. Is there enough time to learn? If there's not enough time, I'll wait until next year. As long as I earn enough money for art school, I can wait another year, Jiang Mian replied. Lin Fengwan looked him up and down, her gaze filled with curiosity. People with thick skin and strong mental fortitude are rare these days, especially those who aren't negative examples. She thought for a moment and said, You should focus on your art. I'm too lazy to teach students. Hearing this refusal, Jiang Mian's heart sank to the bottom. However, if you trust me, you can give me your salary or some other money, and I'll manage it for you for 3 months, Lin Fengwan continued. I don't know how much profit there will be, and don't come looking for me if you lose money. Oh, and I won't give you an advance on your salary. I'll only transfer your salary to your account after you've worked for the month. Jiang Mian was taken aback. He understood what she meant. Lin Fengwan wouldn't lend him money, but she could invest his money for him. It was uncertain how much he would earn, and there was a risk of losing everything which he would have to accept. Thank you. Jiang Mian gritted his teeth and agreed. He decided to go all the way. He wouldn't be satisfied unless he hit a wall this time. He had saved 500 yuan, plus his first month's salary of 800 yuan, totaling 1,300 yuan. He hadn't spent much money, and now he only kept 100 yuan for his living expenses for the next 3 months, giving the rest to Lin Fengwan. Then, he continued to pick up and drop off Lu Shaoxian as if nothing had happened, fulfilling his duties diligently. Are you still acting like a young master in kindergarten? One day Lin Fengwan suddenly asked. Lu Shaoxian's sneaky figure stiffened, and he immediately stood up straight, scratching his head in embarrassment. I don't want to, but they always call me young master. Lin Fengwan pursed her lips. Fine, for the past few months, every time she went to buy snacks or go to the mall, the little guy had to follow her. As soon as he went, he dashed to the snack and toy area and buy a large pile of things. He had already learned to pick the things Lin Fengwan didn't like. When he took them, Lin Fengwan would pay for them, and then within a few days these things would disappear. Other than that, he didn't take anything else from the house. How many people do you have as your underlings now? Lin Fengwan asked. Lu Shaoxian became excited, gesturing with his hands and feet. Everyone in the small class acknowledges me as their boss. More than half of the middle class too. And I'm trying to win over the big class. They do whatever you say? Pretty much, Lu Shaoxian said, reserved. Alright, then it's not a loss. After saying that, Lin Fengwan stretched lazily. Kid, bring mommy her bag. Which one? Lu Shaoxian immediately perked up. The red one. As soon as Lin Fengwan finished speaking, Lu Shaoxian brought the bag to her. Lin Fengwan, in front of him, made another mark in a small notebook. The little guy's eyes immediately curved into crescents. This was his account book, representing how much work he had done for Lin Fengwan. At the end of the month, Lin Fengwan would use this to pay him his wages. Lu Shaoxian valued this thing very much because with the money earned this way he could spend it however he wanted. Therefore, he was very diligent in his work on ordinary days. Although he didn't receive much money in a month. But this is probably the joy of childhood? In the age of ignorance, a pack of spicy strips can make him happily work for you for half a day. And it only takes 21 days to form a good habit. However, most parents are stingy with rewards, thinking, since I gave birth to them and raised them, why should I pay them for doing some chores? So they expect their children to be self-disciplined in everything, and when they are dissatisfied, they either beat or scold them. With only punishment and no reward, it's strange if the child can muster any enthusiasm. Lin Fengwan was different. The child was not hers, and she was spending his mother's money. Before he spent 1 million from her, it wasn't her money. So she felt she had no reason to suppress the child. Things like, I carried him for 10 months with great hardship, eating my food, wearing my clothes, using my things. Mom doesn't eat well or sleep well every day to earn money for your schooling, didn't exist in her mind. She wouldn't go against her conscience and turn black into white. Therefore, employing a child for work did require rewards. After all, he was living in his mother's house, eating his mother's food, and he didn't owe her anything. Having received the money, Lin Fengwan carried her bag and went to the bank to check her accounts and also to buy a house. The current house was not small, nor was it old, but the security of this neighborhood was not very good. The security of ordinary neighborhoods certainly couldn't compare to that of high-end ones, and neither could the neighbors. After she bought a car and had a driver pick up and drop off the child, she heard a lot of gossip from the neighbors. Things like, she must be a mistress. Is she being kept? Every night a man in a luxury car enters her house. All kinds of trivial gossip. She directly hired a lawyer and sent a lawyer's letter to all the gossiping women in the neighborhood, and only then did they quiet down. In the end, of course, they all chose out-of-court settlements and paid compensation. These days, regardless of whether they broke the law or not, people didn't want to go to court. After this matter was resolved, the gossiping women in the neighborhood looked at her and Lu Shaoxian with increasingly strange eyes. But after almost going to court once, they kept their mouths shut in public. At least for now, no one should be gossiping in front of Lu Shaoxian. But in any case, she couldn't stay in this neighborhood anymore. Lin Fengwan had her eye on a school district house, a high-end villa community. It wasn't close to the kindergarten, but it was not far from the junior high school and the city's #1 high school, making it a potential investment. So Lin Fengwan bought the villa all cash. These days, a good house only cost tens of thousands of yuan. This kind of location and house, top-notch, only cost her 300,000 yuan. After buying the house, she began to look up designers' information online. She was too lazy to decorate her house herself. Leaving everything to an interior designer was not a bad idea. This house also had a small garden where she could plant a fruit tree and set up a grape arbor. But another 3 months had passed. She looked up at the sky, her expression unreadable. The next time Jiang Mian came to pick up Lu Shaoxian, Lin Fengwan asked him, "When are you going to art school?" Jiang Mian was taken aback, pursed his lips. "In a little over a week. But I still don't know which art school I can apply to." Lin Fengwan counted out his money and gave it to him. "Your investment principal and interest." Looking at the red bills, Jiang Mian took a deep breath and took them. He suddenly felt a little nervous. These 3 months had not been easy for him. He had to save on various art supplies, borrowing from others whenever possible, becoming thick-skinned in the process. For sleeping, he secretly went to a spare dormitory in the school, introduced by Chan Kai. He didn't pay for lodging, just brought his own blanket and slept there. The pillow was a gift from someone else. When eating, he tried to wait until later so he could hold his bowl of white rice and ask the cafeteria lady for some leftover soup. Sometimes, if there wasn't much food left or the lady was generous, she would give him some vegetables along with the soup, also for free. That's how he struggled through these 3 months. Now it was time to see the results, or rather to see the future. He didn't know what he was expecting. Was it so easy for a miracle to happen in this kind of situation? But he swore in his heart, if this money was enough for him to go to the cheapest school, then he would definitely go. It didn't matter if the school was not good. He would study hard. Counting the money one by one, Jiang Mian counted in his heart. 3,000, 4,000, 5,000. It exceeded 5,000. He became excited. 6,000, 7,000, 8,000. His eyes suddenly widened. There were more than 8,500 yuan. Enough for him to apply to a good art school and still have some left for living expenses. How is there so much? Jiang Mian looked at Lin Fengwan in surprise. I didn't give you extra. Lin Fengwan shook her head. She really didn't give extra. Go apply. Are there any other people in your school who haven't chosen an art school yet, besides you? No. Jiang Mian shook his head, feeling a sudden urge to cry again. He sniffled and held back. After you leave, what about my driver? Who will be the driver? Lin Fengwan suddenly thought of a problem. Do you know someone familiar, someone whose character you can vouch for, and who can also drive? You can bring him to me to have a look. If he's suitable, I'll let him do it. As for the salary, I can pay him the same as you, but if you want to take a cut, you can tell me in advance, we'll get our story straight, and I guarantee I won't let it slip. This meant that even if he was gone, he could still get money? Jiang Mian looked at Lin Fengwan in astonishment. He had just been happy that he could go to a better art school. Even though he knew that after applying to the art school, there wouldn't be much money left. Let alone the tuition for university, even his living expenses for the next 6 months would be a problem. But he didn't expect that. Even though he was quitting after only a few months, Lin Fengwan would still let him introduce someone. 800 yuan a month for a normal job was definitely a high salary now, let alone just picking up and dropping off a child from school. If this job posting was put out, it would be enough for people to fight over. I know someone. Jiang Mian took a deep breath, his voice a little hoarse. My junior, he's also quite talented. His family used to be well off and he learned to drive, but he was too young to get a license before, now he has one. But last year his father suddenly passed away, and now his family is struggling to pay the mortgage. He's considering switching from an art student to a regular student. Lin Fengwan nodded. Bring him over for me to see. Jiang Mian nodded and immediately found his junior. The junior was named Jiang Yu. He originally wanted to lie about the price to avoid any imbalance if Jiang Yu knew about his share, but he thought about what Lin Fengwan had said to him 3 months ago, so he said, there's a job, do you want it? Picking up and dropping off a rich family's kid from school. They're giving me 800 a month. I can't do it because I'm going to art school, so if you want it, I'll give it to you. But I can only give you 400 a month, I need the money too. Jiang Yu was stunned. His mother used to be a full-time housewife, and the whole family relied on his father. When his father was alive, he didn't feel anything, but when his father passed away, he felt like the whole family was struggling even to eat. 400 yuan was a lot for him too. Although it was a bit uncomfortable to have half taken away, the job was given by someone else. 400 yuan, his mother's current job didn't even pay 400 a month, and he only needed to skip 2 classes a day to pick up and drop off the kid. I'll do it. He immediately found his homeroom teacher, and asked for leave according to the kindergarten school hours that Jiang Mian had given him. The homeroom teacher initially disagreed, frowning. Jiang Yu, you are a student now, your main task is to study. You are in your 2nd year of high school, a crucial year. High school is the most important stage of your life. It determines which class you will be in the future. 400 yuan is a lot, but how can you give up studying for such a small amount of money? This is wrong. Jiang Yu didn't argue, just looked at the teacher and calmly stated, my dad died, and our family didn't save much money because of the mortgage. Without this money, I won't even have enough for college tuition, and I still want to learn to draw, I want to go to college. The homeroom teacher agreed. Jiang Mian introduced Jiang Yu to Lin Fengwan, and 2 weeks later, he embarked on his journey to art school. Mom, will Uncle Jiang not come back anymore? Lu Xiaoxian was a little sad. You should call him Brother Jiang, Lin Fengwan said. No. Lu Xiaoxian shook his head. He looks the same age as Mom. Lin Fengwan smiled. Another 6 months passed, and Lin Fengwan received a call from Jiang Mian. On the other end of the phone, Jiang Mian was sobbing uncontrollably, his words incoherent and intermittent. Sis, I passed. I made it. I got the acceptance letter from the Central Academy of Fine Arts, sob. Thank you, sis, thank you so much. Lin Fengwan listened to him ramble for half an hour before lightly saying, "Congratulations." Jiang Mian's voice stopped. After a long while he spoke again. "Sister Lin, starting next month, give all of Jiang Yu's salary to Jiang Yu. I don't want it anymore. I have taken on a wall painting job, and after it's done, along with what I've saved, I'll have enough for the first year's tuition and living expenses. The tuition at the Central Academy of Fine Arts is not expensive, and I want to aim for a scholarship. I can also work part-time to earn some living expenses." "You're really willing to give up 400 yuan a month, such a good deal?" Lin Fengwan asked. "Of course not," Jiang Mian said. "But I've already broken free from the cocoon, so I'll give it to someone who needs it more." Jiang Mian left to attend his dream university. Lin Fengwan rubbed Lu Shaoxuan's head inside. "When will you be this studious?" Lu Shaoxian refused to admit defeat, puffing out his cheeks. "I'll definitely be more studious than him in the future." Lin Fengwan smiled and shook her head. Lu Shaoxian became even angrier. He felt this was saying he wasn't good enough. Lin Fengwan had been teasing him a lot these past few months. She discovered that this child had a strong competitive streak. Whenever there was a troublesome task she didn't want to do and didn't want to pay for, she would just make a, "Oh, I knew you couldn't do it" face, and Lu Shaoxian would definitely jump at the chance to do it. However, after 6 months of end-of-month salary halved, Lu Shaoxian caught on to something. Now when Lin Fengwan made that gesture, he wouldn't slack off, nor would he rush to do it. Instead, he would blink his big eyes and ask her, "Mom, if I can do it, shouldn't you reward me?" Then his end-of-month salary returned to normal, and even increased a bit. At school, he had become the absolute leader of the kids. Every month, with dozens of silver dollars in hand, he brought snacks to school like they were free. He seemed to enjoy the feeling of being the center of attention. Nothing major happened in the following year. However, a year later, Jiang Yu also resigned to attend art school for training. Before leaving, he brought someone over. His name is Inshu. He's 16 in the first year of high school, not yet an adult, and doesn't have a driver's license. As he spoke, Jiang Yu's confidence waned. "But his driving skills are absolutely fine. I watched him learn, taught him myself. He just hasn't reached the age to take the driving test." "Then who will be responsible if something happens?" Lin Fengwan asked. "I'll take full responsibility," Inshu said. He looked a few years older than his actual age, probably because of his attire. He was dressing himself to look more mature. Jiang Yu was a little uneasy. He had heard about Jiang Mian drawing his own driver's license back then, which gave him the courage to bring in Inshu. He actually has a driver's license. Well, not really. His dad has a driver's license. His dad used to be a delivery driver. The car wasn't his own, but he doesn't do it anymore. Inshu looks a lot like his dad. Maybe he can fool people. He then took out a driver's license with Inshu's picture, showing the age of 18. "I drew this for him. It should fool most people. If he encounters the traffic police, he can use that other license." "At least you told me," Lin Fengwan sighed. "You gave me a new lease on life. I can't deceive you on something like this," Jiang Yu said respectfully. "Whether you use him or not is up to you." "Another junior of yours? Have I become a pre-art school prep class?" "No," Jiang Yu shook his head. "Inshu is in a regular class. Half a year ago, his mother was diagnosed with lung cancer, but it's mid-stage, curable. The doctor recommended surgery as soon as possible. His dad took on a lot of jobs to earn more money, but ended up in a car accident due to fatigue driving. Only his dad was injured, but the car was destroyed, and the goods were ruined, resulting in a lot of compensation. His dad didn't die, but his left leg was amputated. He's now working at an instant noodle factory, which is enough to support them, but not enough for his mom's medical expenses." After saying that, he added, "He can work for 3 years. You won't have to change people for 3 years. If that doesn't work, I'll take him back and see if we can change the age on his ID, and have him take the driving test next spring." "Have I become a charity organization?" Lin Fengwan asked. "Forget it. If he can drive, he can stay. I'm too lazy to look for someone else." Thank you. And Shu nodded repeatedly. "Don't worry, if something happens, I'll definitely tell them I lied to you. I have another fake driver's license here. They'll believe it if I show it to them. You just have to say you don't know anything. I drive very steadily. Nothing will happen. Even if I die, I won't let the young master get hurt." Lin Fengwan thought for a while, shook her head and said, "I'm sorry, I can't agree. I can't let a minor without a driver's license pick up and drop off my son. It's irresponsible to the child and to you." And Shu's eyes dimmed. He also felt it was impossible, but Jiang Yu had been encouraging him these days, giving him a faint glimmer of hope, which was now extinguished. "Can you ride a bicycle?" Lin Fengwan asked. And Shu was stunned, not knowing why she asked, but he could ride a bicycle, so he nodded, "Yes." "Then until you get your driver's license, use a bicycle to take him to and from school," Lin Fengwan said. I need someone to take my son to and from school, not someone who must drive a luxury car to do it. The surprise came too suddenly, and Enshu was at a loss for words. Jiang Yu quickly nudged him in the back, and Enshu straightened up with a start, reflexively answering loudly, "Yes." "Then go," Lin Fengwan said. Lu Xiaoxian was waiting in the kindergarten for his big, fancy car to pick him up. He was always the envy of all the children in the school because he had the biggest entourage and the most snacks. Although with the development of the times, more and more people bought cars to pick up and drop off their children from kindergarten, after inquiring around, he found that their cars were not as expensive as his. And not only the other children in the kindergarten, but even their parents would envy him for being born into a good family and having such a nice car. Lu Xiaoxian was also satisfied with this. He wasn't as enthusiastic about showing off as he was initially, but he still enjoyed the feeling of being held in high regard. In the past he deliberately showed off, but now it was mostly unintentional. However, today the situation was a little different. Standing at the entrance of the kindergarten, he looked left and right, but didn't see his fancy car. He looked again. Still nothing. Then he saw his mother standing next to a bicycle. He blinked, then rubbed his eyes, making sure he wasn't seeing things. Lu Xiaoxian was stunned. Why was his mom picking him up with a bicycle? He blinked his big eyes at his mom, who gave him a heartless smile, and then a tearful, heartfelt lament. "Son, our family is bankrupt. Your mom invested all her money in the stock market recently, and now it's all stuck. The stocks your mom owns have hit their limit and can't be sold. We have no money left. You won't have snacks anymore. Mom sold the car to pay off some debt, and now our family is almost broke." Lu Xiaoxian was stunned. He couldn't believe how things had turned out this way. His first reaction was to look at teacher Xiaoya and the other children, and he saw that they were all there and they had all heard. Lu Xiaoxian panicked. He didn't understand what it meant to be almost broke, but he knew that from today on, he was no longer a young master. No one would hold him in high regard anymore, and maybe people would even look down on him. He would have to sit on the back of a bicycle and maybe people would point at him and laugh, saying, "Oh, isn't that young Master Lu? Why aren't you riding in your fancy car? Mom, you're joking with me, right?" He looked at his mother expectantly. Lin Fengwan continued to cry, having deliberately worn her most tattered clothes today. "Why would Mom joke with you about something like this? Is it funny? Son, our family is really bankrupt. Maybe tomorrow Mom will have to move you into the slums." Lu Xiaoxian was completely dumbfounded. He stood there like a lost soul, his eyes unmoving. "Enshu, take Xiaoxian home first," Lin Fengwan said, wiping her fake tears. Enshu wanted to take Lu Xiaoxian's hand, but as soon as his fingers touched his arm, he was fiercely "Ka. I'm not going." Lu Xiaoxian shouted, his eyes red. "I don't want to ride a bicycle." If he rode a bicycle, wouldn't he be just like the poorest kids in the kindergarten? Lin Fengwan wasn't angry. She sniffled and said calmly, "Since he doesn't want to ride a bicycle, take him home on foot." Then she looked at Lu Xiaoxian. "I used to walk you home every day. Don't tell me you don't know how to walk." Lu Xiaoxian didn't speak, his eyes red. Enshu still dragged him away. Lu Xiaoxian didn't throw a tantrum because more and more people were gathering, and everyone had seen and heard. He didn't want more people to see and hear, although he knew that probably by tomorrow, everyone in the kindergarten would know. He was angry, but he didn't throw a tantrum because outside, he still had to maintain the dignity of a young master. He left. Lin Fengwan didn't leave. She leaned against the wall, watching his retreating figure. "My condolences, everything will get better." Teacher Xiaoya saw Lin Fengwan in a daze, thinking she was sad, and came over to offer some dry comfort. Lin Fengwan looked up, blinked, and there wasn't a trace of tears on her face. "Teacher Xiaoya, actually my family is fine, I was just playing a joke on the child," Lin Fengwan said slowly. "The one just now Enshu is our new driver. He's only 16, a minor, and doesn't have a driver's license. So I'm letting him use a bicycle to take my child to and from school for a year. After he gets his license in 2 years, he can drive normally." Teacher Xiaoya was stunned. She recalled the person from earlier, and although he was dressed to look older, he definitely had an overly youthful face. Lin Fengwan scratched her head, embarrassed, and smiled. "Oh well, isn't the child just too cute? I wanted to tease him a bit. Don't tell him, okay? And don't tell the other kids. Let him be sad for a few days, I'll have a good laugh." Teacher Xiaoya looked back, the children were all gone, and she seemed to have realized something, nodding in understanding. "Oh, I understand, Xiaoxuan's mom, I get it. Xiaoxian has too many people around him now, mostly bought with snacks. Xiaoxian is still young, he doesn't understand anything, and can't tell what people's intentions are. You want to take this opportunity to let him see who is just after his money, and who are genuine friends? I get it, I really do." She finished with a knowing look. Lin Fengwan blinked. Although she understood what Teacher Xiaoya meant, she really did just want to tease the child. Just like before when she tricked him into working for her, it was just for fun, definitely not with so many hidden motives. Even if he were to go through something like this in the future, it would be when he was older. He was only a few years old now, not even in elementary school. What did he know? I really just wanted to play a joke on him, Lin Fengwan explained. Yes, we all heard. It's normal for parents to joke with their kids. No one can say you deliberately tricked them, tested them. Teacher Xiaoya continued to nod. Lin Fengwan. But this gave Lin Wan an idea. Lu Xiaoxian was really getting more and more arrogant recently, so praised that he didn't know who he was anymore. It was time to take an opportunity to let him face reality. When Lin Wan returned home, Lu Xiaoxuan's eyes were still red as if he had just cried. Are you angry? Lin Wan asked with a smile, sitting on the sofa next to Lu Xiaoxian. Okay, Mom was actually lying to you. Our family isn't bankrupt. Lu Xiaoxian looked up at her, his voice filled with anticipation. Really? Really, Lin Wan said. But do you dare to play a game with Mom? What? Lu Xiaoxian asked. You only have 1 year left in kindergarten, and you'll graduate next year. So I want you to not mention our family situation to anyone before you graduate, and not bring snacks to school to share with your classmates anymore. Sit obediently on the back of the bicycle and go home every day, and don't casually promise to fight. Can you do that? Why? Lu Xiaoxian understood. His mother was asking him to pretend to be poor. If you can do it, after you start elementary school, I will give you 100 yuan in pocket money every day until you are an adult. At this time Lin Wan said slowly, if you can't do it, then I can only give you 10 yuan in pocket money every day. Lu Xiaoxuan's eyes suddenly lit up. 100 yuan. He couldn't even earn that much in a month now. It took him several months to earn that much. And this would be just 1 day's money. How much money could he get in a month then? No problem, leave it to me, I can do it. Lu Xiaoxian immediately patted his chest, not caring about being sad anymore, afraid that if he agreed too late, Lin Wan would change her mind. He happily finished his meal, then went to bed and fell asleep. Are you angry? Lin Wan asked with a smile, sitting on the sofa next to Lu Xiaoxian. Okay, Mom was actually lying to you. Our family isn't bankrupt. Lu Xiaoxian looked up at her, his voice filled with anticipation. Really? Really, Lin Wan said. But do you dare to play a game with Mom? What? Lu Xiaoxian asked. You only have 1 year left in kindergarten, and you'll graduate next year. So I want you to not mention our family situation to anyone before you graduate, and not bring snacks to school to share with your classmates anymore. Sit obediently on the back of the bicycle and go home every day, and don't casually promise to fight. Can you do that? Why? Lu Xiaoxian understood. His mother was asking him to pretend to be poor. If you can do it, after you start elementary school, I will give you 100 yuan in pocket money every day until you are an adult. At this time Lin Wan said slowly, if you can't do it, then I can only give you 10 yuan in pocket money every day. Lu Xiaoxuan's eyes suddenly lit up. 100 yuan. He couldn't even earn that much in a month now. It took him several months to earn that much. And this would be just 1 day's money. How much money could he get in a month then? No problem, leave it to me, I can do it. Lu Xiaoxian immediately patted his chest, not caring about being sad anymore, afraid that if he agreed too late, Lin Wan would change her mind. The next day, when Lu Xiaoxian arrived at the kindergarten, he found that the other children were looking at him strangely. It was probably sympathy for his family's bankruptcy, but he knew that his family was not actually bankrupt, so he didn't feel embarrassed. On the contrary, he felt very confident. He walked into the classroom with his head held high and greeted everyone. In the first class, Ms. Ye taught everyone to sing. After class, Lu Xiaoxian went to find his close friends to play as usual, but he heard someone ask, Lu Xiaoxian, is your family out of money? Lu Xiaoxian wanted to refute, but then he remembered Lin Wan's words. 100 yuan and 10 yuan were completely different concepts. If he had 100 yuan a day, how much money would he save by the time he was an adult? He counted and found that he couldn't count that high, so he didn't speak. In the eyes of others, this was an admission. He pursed his lips. He didn't bring any toys or snacks today, so he looked out the window and said, let's go play on the slide. A few children stood up with him. Lu Xiaoxian was about to reach out to one of the children, but that child was suddenly pulled by another child next to him and sat down abruptly. Are you stupid? Before, when you listened to him, he would give you snacks. Now why do you still listen to him? The child next to him said loudly. The child was stunned and Lu Xiaoxian was also stunned, because the child who pulled him was very close to Lu Xiaoxian. It could be said that many times, she was helping Lu Xiaoxian manage these children. Lu Xiaoxian felt uncomfortable. He knew that what this child said was right, but he just felt uncomfortable. He looked at the child who had been pulled down. The child was stunned and then scratched his head, as if he hadn't reacted yet. But I want to play on the swings, the child who was pulled down said. You haven't given me any snacks, and I haven't not played with you before, have I? The other child was also stunned. She was a little angry, stood up and pointed at them. You want to be on his side, right? Okay, you two go play together. With that, she took out a lot of snacks. Lu Shaoxian recognized them. They were all snacks he had given to that child. Then she distributed these snacks to those who were willing to follow her, and they went to play on the other side. Because those who followed her got snacks, a few others who were still hesitating looked at Lu Shaoxian and followed her. In the end, only Lu Shaoxian and the child who was pulled down remained. Qiuqiu, what's wrong with Tang Guagua? Lu Shaoxian asked sadly. The little chubby boy named Qiuqiu shook his head in confusion. Lu Shaoxian pursed his lips and pulled Qiuqiu up. Come on, let's go play on the slide. However, the slide outside was already occupied by Tang Guagua and her friends. She stood at the top looking down at Lu Shaoxian. She, who had just said she didn't want to play on the slide, now had people surrounding the slide completely. Lu Shaoxian didn't pay attention to her, and was about to go up the slide with Qiuqiu. Stop, Tang Guagua said. This is our territory. Lu Shaoxian tilted his head. There's no name written here. Can't anyone play? You play yours, I won't disturb you. It's ours now. Tang Guagua said stubbornly. Qiuqiu tugged at Lu Shaoxian. Shall we go play in the sandbox? Sand is also quite good. Lu Shaoxian looked around. The other side clearly had more people than his side, so he didn't insist and entered the sandbox. The whole day he was not allowed to go near the slide. After school, the more he thought about it, the angrier he became, so he told Anshu about it. Anshu knew what was going on as soon as he heard it, and then he told Lin Wan. I know, you don't need to worry about it. Lin Wan nodded and said. Anshu thought she would intervene, so he didn't say anything more. The next day, Tang Guagua wouldn't even let them near the sandbox. She brought even more snacks. Seeing those snacks, Lu Shaoxian suddenly realized how many snacks he had given her. No, when he thought about it carefully, almost half of the snacks he brought were taken by Tang Guagua alone. He hadn't noticed before. But it was useless to notice now. He couldn't ask for them back, could he? When he got home, Lu Shaoxian complained to Lin Wan about his grievances. Lin Wan listened and comforted him to go to sleep. On the third day, Lu Shaoxian found that all the play equipment in the kindergarten was surrounded by Tang Guagua's people. They wouldn't let him play with any of them. Zhang Yuanpeng, are you going to let me through or not? Have you forgotten how good I was to you before? Lu Shaoxian angrily looked at the child in front of him and asked angrily. The child lowered his head, feeling a little guilty. I'm sorry, Lu Shaoxian, but Guagua told me to stop you, otherwise she won't play with me. You want to play with her that much? Lu Shaoxian questioned. No. The child's head lowered even further. But if she doesn't play with me, other children won't play with me either. I don't want to be like you, unable to play with anything. Lu Shaoxuan's teeth were chattering with anger. This was simply unbearable. Come on. Let's go find Tang Guagua. He grabbed Qiuqiu's hand and strode towards Tang Guagua. Without much effort, they found Tang Guagua. Tang Guagua, you're really going too far. After seeing her, Lu Shaoxian immediately shouted. Why won't you let us play? I'm not letting you play, it's just that these are all occupied. If you want to play, you can go play with something else. Tang Guagua looked at them calmly, then patted the slide beside her and asked Qiuqiu, who was next to Lu Shaoxian. Qiuqiu, do you want to come and play on the slide with me? Qiuqiu, at a loss. You're not allowed to go with her. Have you forgotten how she treated us the past 2 days? Lu Shaoxian roared. Qiuqiu swayed left and right, very conflicted. Who are you? Why do you get to order Qiuqiu around? Tang Guagua looked down at Lu Shaoxian from above, then looked at Qiuqiu. Let him choose for himself. Do you want to continue to hang out with him? Or come over and play with us? With that, she took out Qiuqiu's favorite potato chips, opened the package and slowly ate them. Qiuqiu swallowed. He wanted to go. He took a step, but Lu Shaoxian grabbed his hand. He turned around and saw Lu Shaoxuan's sad eyes. Are you going to betray me too? Lu Shaoxian asked. Qiuqiu thought for a moment, and the step he took forward retreated back. Tang Guagua immediately shouted. What betrayal is this? When his family was rich, did he ever look at you? Now he's acting like you're close, but normally, do you two even talk 5 sentences a month? Lu Shaoxian was really anxious. He couldn't let Qiuqiu leave. If Qiuqiu left, he would really be alone. How do you know I didn't? I usually care about Qiuqiu too. Is that so? Tang Guagua asked. Then can you tell me what Qiuqiu's full name is? Lu Shaoxian was stunned. His mind was blank. Full name? What full name? Isn't Qiuqiu's name just Qiuqiu? He tried to recall the details of the two of them together before, but he couldn't remember anything. He realized that before Tang Guagua sowed discord that day, he had no impression of Qiuqiu at all. Lu Shaoxian panicked. He didn't know what to do. He really didn't know what Qiuqiu's name was. He looked at the others for help, but none of them told him. Tang Guogua said, "You see? It's only because he's down on his luck now that you're the only one willing to play with him that he puts you in his heart. Once his family is rich again, he will still leave you far behind. Do you want to play with such a person? He doesn't care about you at all, he just wants to drag you down with him." I didn't. Lu Xiaoshuan's explanation was so weak. He was so anxious that he cried, he really cried. He grabbed Qiuqiu's hand and pleaded, "Don't go, okay? Come back. I will definitely ask Ms. Ye your name. I will never forget your name, I promise, I can swear." But was this possible? It was him on one side and everyone else on the other. Even a fool would know what to choose. The feeling of being isolated was not good. He had already experienced it these past few days. He really didn't know what reason Qiuqiu could have to stay. He cried very sadly. Qiuqiu looked at him and then at Ms. Ye. He didn't move. After thinking for a while, he stepped back behind Lu Xiaoxian. Lu Xiaoxian looked at him in disbelief. Tang Guogua was angry. "Gao Qiu, this is your last chance, you need to think carefully." Qiuqiu shook his head. "I didn't talk to him much before. It's normal that he doesn't remember me. But Tang Guogua, he knows your name very well. Whenever he brought something good, he always gave it to you first. How can you treat him like this? I don't have a very deep relationship with him, but I hate you even more. He likes you so much, you took so many benefits from him. When his family was rich, you were eager to get close to him, but when his family fell on hard times, you led the way in bullying him. I wouldn't dare to be friends with someone like you." Tang Guogua was furious. She jumped off the slide and pushed Qiuqiu hard. Qiuqiu staggered and almost fell, but Lu Xiaoxian caught him. Then Tang Guogua stomped hard on Lu Xiaoshuan's foot. Lu Xiaoxian was in pain, and before he could say anything, he heard a deafening cry. Tang Guogua was crying. Lu Xiaoxian and Qiuqiu were both stunned. Lu Xiaoxian felt that he should be the one crying. Why was Tang Guogua crying? He looked at Tang Guogua and found that her eyes were red, but there were no tears. She was just wailing loudly. Soon the teachers came. All the kindergarten teachers were attracted over, and they hurriedly comforted Tang Guogua. "What happened?" they asked. "He pushed me." Tang Guogua pointed at Lu Xiaoxian and said loudly, "I didn't." Lu Xiaoxian argued. They all saw it. Tang Guogua pointed at the people behind her. The teachers asked the other children. The children looked at Tang Guogua, then at Lu Xiaoxian, gritted their teeth and lied. It was indeed Lu Xiaoxian who pushed Tang Guogua. "Yes, I saw it too. It was him who pushed her." The children chattered. "I didn't." Lu Xiaoshuan's eyes were also red. "Lu Xiaoxian, are you trying to say that so many people conspired to frame you?" the teacher asked angrily. After class, Lu Xiaoxian went to find his close friends to play as usual, but he heard someone ask, "Lu Xiaoxian, is your family out of money?" Lu Xiaoxian wanted to refute, but then he remembered Lin Wan's words. 100 yuan and 10 yuan were completely different concepts. If he had 100 yuan a day, how much money would he save by the time he was an adult? He counted and found that he couldn't count that high, so he didn't speak. In the eyes of others, this was an admission. He pursed his lips. He didn't bring any toys or snacks today, so he looked out the window and said, "Let's go play on the slide." A few children stood up with him. Lu Xiaoxian was about to reach out to one of the children, but that child was suddenly pulled by another child next to him and sat down abruptly. "Are you stupid? Before, when you listened to him, he would give you snacks. Now why do you still listen to him?" The child next to him said loudly. "Are you stupid? Before, when you listened to him, he would give you snacks. Now why do you still listen to him?" The child next to him said loudly. The child was stunned and Lu Xiaoxian was also stunned. Because the child who pulled him was very close to Lu Xiaoxian. It could be said that many times, she was helping Lu Xiaoxian manage these children. Lu Xiaoxian felt uncomfortable. He knew that what this child said was right, but he just felt uncomfortable. He looked at the child who had been pulled down. The child was stunned and then scratched his head, as if he hadn't reacted yet. "But I want to play on the swings," the child who was pulled down said. "You haven't given me any snacks, and I haven't not played with you before, have I?" "But I want to play on the swings," the child who was pulled down said. "You haven't given me any snacks, and I haven't not played with you before, have I?" The other child was also stunned. She was a little angry, stood up and pointed at them. "You want to be on his side, right? Okay, you two go play together." With that, she took out a lot of snacks. Lu Xiaoxian recognized them. They were all snacks he had given to that child. Then, she distributed these snacks to those who were willing to follow her, and they went to play on the other side. Because those who followed her got snacks, a few others who were still hesitating looked at Lu Xiaoxian and followed her. In the end, only Lu Xiaoxian and the child who was pulled down remained. "You want to be on his side, right? Okay, you two go play together." "Qiuqiu, what's wrong with Tang Guogua?" Lu Xiaoxian asked sadly. The little chubby boy named Chocho shook his head in confusion. Lu Shaoxian pursed his lips and pulled Chocho up. Come on, let's go play on the slide. Come on, let's go play on the slide. However, the slide outside was already occupied by Tang Guogua and her friends. She stood at the top looking down at Lu Shaoxian. She, who had just said she didn't want to play on the slide, now had people surrounding the slide completely. Lu Shaoxian didn't pay attention to her and was about to go up the slide with Chocho. Stop, Tang Guogua said. This is our territory. Lu Shaoxian tilted his head. There's no name written here. Can't anyone play? You play yours, I won't disturb you. It's ours now. Tang Guogua said stubbornly. Chocho tugged at Lu Shaoxian. Shall we go play in the sandbox? Sand is also quite good. Lu Shaoxian looked around. The other side clearly had more people than his side, so he didn't insist and entered the sandbox. Stop, Tang Guogua said. This is our territory. Lu Shaoxian tilted his head. There's no name written here. Can't anyone play? You play yours, I won't disturb you. It's ours now. Tang Guogua said stubbornly. Chocho tugged at Lu Shaoxian. Shall we go play in the sandbox? Sand is also quite good. The whole day he was not allowed to go near the slide. After school, the more he thought about it, the angrier he became, so he told Anshu about it. Anshu knew what was going on as soon as he heard it, and then he told Lin Wan. I know, you don't need to worry about it. Lin Wan nodded and said. Anshu thought she would intervene, so he didn't say anything more. The next day, Tang Guogua wouldn't even let them near the sandbox. She brought even more snacks. Seeing those snacks, Lu Shaoxian suddenly realized how many snacks he had given her. No, when he thought about it carefully, almost half of the snacks he brought were taken by Tang Guogua alone. He hadn't noticed before. But it was useless to notice now. He couldn't ask for them back, could he? When he got home, Lu Shaoxian complained to Lin Wan about his grievances. Lin Wan listened and comforted him to go to sleep. On the third day, Lu Shaoxian found that all the play equipment in the kindergarten was surrounded by Tang Guogua's people. They wouldn't let him play with any of them. Anshu knew what was going on as soon as he heard it, and then he told Lin Wan. I know, you don't need to worry about it. Lin Wan nodded and said. Anshu thought she would intervene, so he didn't say anything more. I know, you don't need to worry about it. Lin Wan nodded and said. The next day, Tang Guogua wouldn't even let them near the sandbox. She brought even more snacks. Seeing those snacks, Lu Shaoxian suddenly realized how many snacks he had given her. No, when he thought about it carefully, almost half of the snacks he brought were taken by Tang Guogua alone. He hadn't noticed before. But it was useless to notice now. He couldn't ask for them back, could he? When he got home, Lu Shaoxian complained to Lin Wan about his grievances. Lin Wan listened and comforted him to go to sleep. On the third day, Lu Shaoxian found that all the play equipment in the kindergarten was surrounded by Tang Guogua's people. They wouldn't let him play with any of them. Zhang Yuanpeng, are you going to let me through or not? Have you forgotten how good I was to you before? Lu Shaoxian angrily looked at the child in front of him and asked angrily. The child lowered his head, feeling a little guilty. I'm sorry, Lu Shaoxian. But Guogua told me to stop you, otherwise she won't play with me. You want to play with her that much? Lu Shaoxian questioned. No. The child's head lowered even further. But if she doesn't play with me, other children won't play with me either. I don't want to be like you, unable to play with anything. Lu Shaoxuan's teeth were chattering with anger. This was simply unbearable. Come on. Let's go find Tang Guogua. He grabbed Chocho's hand and strode towards Tang Guogua. Come on. Let's go find Tang Guogua. Without much effort, they found Tang Guogua. Tang Guogua, you're really going too far. After seeing her, Lu Shaoxian immediately shouted. Why won't you let us play? Tang Guogua, you're really going too far. After seeing her, Lu Shaoxian immediately shouted. Why won't you let us play? I'm not letting you play. It's just that these are all occupied. If you want to play, you can go play with something else. Tang Guogua looked at them calmly, then patted the slide beside her and asked Chocho, who was next to Lu Shaoxian. Chocho, do you want to come and play on the slide with me? I'm not letting you play. It's just that these are all occupied. If you want to play, you can go play with something else. Chocho, do you want to come and play on the slide with me? Chocho, at a loss. You're not allowed to go with her. Have you forgotten how she treated us the past 2 days? Lu Shaoxian roared. You're not allowed to go with her. Have you forgotten how she treated us the past 2 days? Chocho swayed left and right, very conflicted. Who are you? Why do you get to order Chocho around? Tang Guogua looked down at Lu Shaoxian from above, then looked at Chocho. Let him choose for himself. Do you want to continue to hang out with him? Or come over and play with us? With that, she took out Chocho's favorite potato chips, opened the package and slowly ate them. Who are you? Why do you get to order Chocho around? Tang Guogua looked down at Lu Shaoxian from above, then looked at Chocho. Let him choose for himself. Do you want to continue to hang out with him? Or come over and play with us? Qiuqiu swallowed. He wanted to go. He took a step, but Lu Shaoxian grabbed his hand. He turned around and saw Lu Shaoxuan's sad eyes. Are you going to betray me too? Lu Shaoxian asked. Are you going to betray me too? Lu Shaoxian asked. Qiuqiu thought for a moment, and the step he took forward retreated back. Tang Guogua immediately shouted. What betrayal is this? When his family was rich, did he ever look at you? Now he's acting like you're close, but normally, do you two even talk 5 sentences a month? Tang Guogua immediately shouted. What betrayal is this? When his family was rich, did he ever look at you? Now he's acting like you're close, but normally, do you two even talk 5 sentences a month? Lu Shaoxian was really anxious. He couldn't let Qiuqiu leave. If Qiuqiu left, he would really be alone. How do you know I didn't? I usually care about Qiuqiu too. Is that so? Tang Guogua asked. Then can you tell me what Qiuqiu's full name is? Lu Shaoxian was stunned. His mind was blank. Full name? What full name? Isn't Qiuqiu's name just Qiuqiu? He tried to recall the details of the two of them together before, but he couldn't remember anything. He realized that before Tang Guogua sowed discord that day, he had no impression of Qiuqiu at all. Lu Shaoxian panicked. He didn't know what to do. He really didn't know what Qiuqiu's name was. He looked at the others for help, but none of them told him. How do you know I didn't? I usually care about Qiuqiu too. Is that so? Tang Guogua asked. Then can you tell me what Qiuqiu's full name is? Tang Guogua said. You see? It's only because he's down on his luck now that you're the only one willing to play with him that he puts you in his heart. Once his family is rich again, he will still leave you far behind. Do you want to play with such a person? He doesn't care about you at all, he just wants to drag you down with him. I didn't. Lu Shaoxuan's explanation was so weak. He was so anxious that he cried, he really cried. He grabbed Qiuqiu's hand and pleaded. Don't go, okay? Come back. I will definitely ask Monsieur your name. I will never forget your name, I promise, I can swear. But was this possible? It was him on one side and everyone else on the other. Even a fool would know what to choose. The feeling of being isolated was not good. He had already experienced it these past few days. He really didn't know what reason Qiuqiu could have to stay. He cried very sadly. Qiuqiu looked at him and then at Mizya. He didn't move. After thinking for a while, he stepped back behind Lu Shaoxian. You see? It's only because he's down on his luck now that you're the only one willing to play with him that he puts you in his heart. Once his family is rich again, he will still leave you far behind. Do you want to play with such a person? He doesn't care about you at all, he just wants to drag you down with him. I didn't. Lu Shaoxuan's explanation was so weak. He was so anxious that he cried, he really cried. He grabbed Qiuqiu's hand and pleaded. Don't go, okay? Come back. I will definitely ask Monsieur your name. I will never forget your name, I promise, I can swear. Don't go, okay? Come back. I will definitely ask Monsieur your name. I will never forget your name, I promise, I can swear. But was this possible? It was him on one side and everyone else on the other. Even a fool would know what to choose. The feeling of being isolated was not good. He had already experienced it these past few days. He really didn't know what reason Qiuqiu could have to stay. He cried very sadly. Qiuqiu looked at him and then at Mizya. He didn't move. After thinking for a while, he stepped back behind Lu Shaoxian. Lu Shaoxian looked at him in disbelief. Tang Guogua was angry. Gao Qiu, this is your last chance, you need to think carefully. Qiuqiu shook his head. I didn't talk to him much before. It's normal that he doesn't remember me. But Tang Guogua, he knows your name very well. Whenever he brought something good, he always gave it to you first. How can you treat him like this? I don't have a very deep relationship with him. But I hate you even more. He likes you so much, you took so many benefits from him. When his family was rich, you were eager to get close to him, but when his family fell on hard times, you led the way in bullying him. I wouldn't dare to be friends with someone like you. Tang Guogua was furious. She jumped off the slide and pushed Qiuqiu hard. Qiuqiu staggered and almost fell, but Lu Shaoxian caught him. Then Tang Guogua stomped hard on Lu Shaoxuan's foot. Lu Shaoxian was in pain, and before he could say anything, he heard a deafening cry. Tang Guogua was crying. Lu Shaoxian and Qiuqiu were both stunned. Lu Shaoxian felt that he should be the one crying. Why was Tang Guogua crying? He looked at Tang Guogua and found that her eyes were red, but there were no tears. She was just wailing loudly. Soon the teachers came. All the kindergarten teachers were attracted over, and they hurriedly comforted Tang Guogua. What happened? They asked. He pushed me. Tang Guogua pointed at Lu Shaoxian and said loudly. I didn't. Lu Shaoxian argued. They all saw it. Tang Guogua pointed at the people behind her. The teachers asked the other children. The children looked at Tang Guogua. then at Lu Shaoxian gritted their teeth and lied. It was indeed Lu Shaoxian who pushed Tang Guogua. Yes, I saw it too. It was him who pushed her. The children chattered. I didn't. Lu Shaoxuan's eyes were also red. Lu Shaoxian, are you trying to say that so many people conspired to frame you? The teacher asked angrily. Lu Shaoxian looked at him in disbelief. Tang Guogua was angry. Gao Qiu, this is your last chance, you need to think carefully. Gao Qiu, this is your last chance, you need to think carefully. Qiu shook his head. I didn't talk to him much before. It's normal that he doesn't remember me. But Tang Guogua, he knows your name very well. Whenever he brought something good, he always gave it to you first. How can you treat him like this? I don't have a very deep relationship with him. But I hate you even more. He likes you so much, you took so many benefits from him. When his family was rich, you were eager to get close to him, but when his family fell on hard times, you led the way in bullying him. I wouldn't dare to be friends with someone like you. I didn't talk to him much before. It's normal that he doesn't remember me. But Tang Guogua, he knows your name very well. Whenever he brought something good, he always gave it to you first. How can you treat him like this? I don't have a very deep relationship with him. But I hate you even more. He likes you so much, you took so many benefits from him. When his family was rich, you were eager to get close to him, but when his family fell on hard times, you led the way in bullying him. I wouldn't dare to be friends with someone like you. Tang Guogua was furious. She jumped off the slide and pushed Qiu hard. Qiu staggered and almost fell, but Lu Shaoxian caught him. Then Tang Guogua stomped hard on Lu Shaoxuan's foot. Lu Shaoxian was in pain, and before he could say anything, he heard a deafening cry. Tang Guogua was crying. Lu Shaoxian and Qiu were both stunned. Lu Shaoxian felt that he should be the one crying. Why was Tang Guogua crying? He looked at Tang Guogua and found that her eyes were red, but there were no tears. She was just wailing loudly. Soon the teachers came. All the kindergarten teachers were attracted over, and they hurriedly comforted Tang Guogua. What happened? They asked. What happened? They asked. He pushed me. Tang Guogua pointed at Lu Shaoxian and said loudly. I didn't. Lu Shaoxian argued. They all saw it. Tang Guogua pointed at the people behind her. The teachers asked the other children. The children looked at Tang Guogua, then at Lu Shaoxian, gritted their teeth and lied. It was indeed Lu Shaoxian who pushed Tang Guogua. Yes, I saw it too. It was him who pushed her. The children chattered. I didn't. Lu Shaoxuan's eyes were also red. Lu Shaoxian, are you trying to say that so many people conspired to frame you? The teacher asked angrily. When Lin Fengwan received a call from teacher Xiaoya, she was at home playing on her handheld gaming console. After learning the cause and effect of the accident, she hung up and continued playing. An hour later, teacher Xiaoya called again to urge her. All right, Lin Fengwan sighed, unable to evade any longer. She found an excuse for herself. I was in a very important meeting just now. Then she stood up listlessly, put on her coat, and left the house. So lazy. She yawned. When she arrived at the kindergarten, she found that everyone involved in the incident was already there, except for her. Little Lu Shaoxian stood in the corner, lips tightly pursed, not saying a word. Not far from him, a chubby boy was being comforted by two adults. Opposite them were Tang Guogua, still looking wronged, and her parents, who wore unpleasant expressions. Seeing Lin Fengwan enter, Tang Guogua's mother, who had been waiting for a while, sarcastically remarked, "Oh, what a busy person. I wonder if your legs are crippled or something, taking over an hour to walk here." Lin Fengwan smiled at her. "Yes, I'm quite busy. After all, I'm dealing with business deals worth millions. I can't be as idle as some people." Tang Guogua's mother sneered. Everyone knew her family had gone bankrupt. Millions in business deals? Who was she fooling? As expected, people with no upbringing raise children with no upbringing. At such a young age, he already bullies female classmates. Who knows what kind of societal scum he'll become in the future? Tang Guogua's mother said with venom. I didn't. Lu Shaoxian raised his head and said. Before Lin Fengwan arrived, he had been repeating this sentence. What? Are you saying my daughter is lying and framing you? Tang Guogua's mother exploded like a firecracker. My daughter is so smart, obedient and sensible. How could she possibly lie? And are all the other children in this kindergarten also framing you together? If you did something wrong, you should admit it. You have the guts to push people but not the guts to admit it. I didn't. Lu Shaoxian retorted again, looking at Lin Fengwan for help. Trouble. Lin Fengwan's first feeling was that it was troublesome. These kinds of situations were hard to untangle, making her sigh. Is there surveillance footage? I'd like to see the recording, Lin Fengwan said. The principal scratched his head awkwardly. The surveillance camera broke down a few days ago. Lin Fengwan was about to question how it could break down so conveniently, but she stopped herself and slapped her forehead. She remembered. This wasn't 2023, but 2001 in another world. At this time, surveillance cameras were not widely used, and many schools didn't even have them. This was a mistake of empiricism. Why don't we just let it go? Children will be children. They fight and play around. It's normal. Your child isn't made of glass, breaking at the slightest touch. A little quarrel, does it have to escalate to this? Lin Fengwan yawned, not caring much. Tang Guoguo's parents were immediately furious. What do you mean? Only your child is precious and our child is lowly? Your child pushed our child, didn't apologize, didn't offer compensation, and wants to just walk away? Let me tell you, no way. If you don't give us an explanation today, you're not leaving this room. Lin Fengwan looked at them. Isn't it better for adults not to interfere in children's matters? Once we interfere, the situation escalates, and who knows what it will turn into. Noticing Lin Fengwan's intention to smooth things over, Tang Guoguo's mother became even more arrogant and confident. I don't care. Today, you must give my Guoguo an explanation. He must apologize to my Guoguo in front of all the children in the school, and compensate her for her emotional distress. The chubby boy, Qiu, couldn't stand it any longer and angrily said, "We didn't push her. She pushed me." And he stepped on Lu Xiaoshuan's foot. What are you to interrupt? Everyone knows you two are in cahoots. All the children in the school are ganging up to accuse just the two of you. Tang Guoguo's parents exploded again. Tang Guoguo lowered her head and cried softly, looking very pitiful. Lin Fengwan glanced at Tang Guoguo and then at her son, who held his head high with a stubborn look. She asked one last time, "You really won't reconcile?" "No," Tang Guoguo's mother said firmly. "All right." Lin Fengwan nodded and turned to Lu Xiaoxian. "Where's the voice recorder I gave you? The one I told you to carry with you at all times. Take it out. I want to hear what happened." Voice recorder? Lu Xiaoxian was confused. Did his mom give him such a thing? Before he could ask, he heard his mother say, "The new one from XX company this year, the black one. It's set to be able to record anytime, anywhere, and store the recordings for a week. I remember buying it for you as soon as it was released and turning it on for you to carry with you." "Where is it?" After she finished speaking, Lu Xiaoxian was stunned, Teacher Xiaoya was stunned, the principal was stunned, Tang Guoguo's parents were stunned, and Tang Guoguo was stunned too. She thought she had done everything seamlessly, but she hadn't considered one thing: the information gap and the technological gap. She didn't know about the existence of voice recorders. She thought that to hear sounds, one had to listen to the television or radio. And now she heard this bombshell. So there was a small inconspicuous device shaped like a pen that could record and play back people's voices anytime, anywhere. Suddenly she panicked. She thought about the situation at the time. The recording probably wouldn't reveal much, but her previous bullying would definitely be recorded clearly. If such a thing were brought out, Tang Guoguo was suddenly at a loss. Tang Guoguo's parents also came to their senses and wanted to see what this thing looked like. Suddenly, their daughter tugged at their clothes. Looking down at their daughter's expression, they understood. Something was wrong. They couldn't let her take out that so-called voice recorder. Lin Fengwan walked up to Lu Xiaoxian and reached into his pocket to search. She didn't find it. She frowned and asked, "Did you leave it in your backpack? Didn't I tell you to carry it with you?" Lu Xiaoxian didn't say anything, dumbfounded. Hearing that the device wasn't on him, Tang Guoguo's parents breathed a sigh of relief. But they noticed that their daughter was still tugging at their clothes. Why? Didn't she say she didn't record the incident this time? Could it be they had a bad feeling? Looking at Lin Fengwan again, she was still calm, and her face showed no emotion. She looked at Teacher Xiaoya and the principal and smiled apologetically. "I'm sorry, Teacher Xiaoya. It's not that I don't trust you, but my son's identity is a bit special. I'm afraid of him being taken advantage of outside, so I made some preparations. I usually don't listen to this thing. It's just in case something like this happens so I can have some evidence. I usually don't care what's revealed in it." "It's okay, Xiaoshuan's mom," Teacher Xiaoya said. She also didn't know about this voice recorder thing and was marveling at how advanced technology was now. She could understand even if she couldn't before, she could now. She had seen Tang Guoguo tugging at her parents' clothes just now. From Tang Guoguo's perspective, she thought she was being discreet, but from a teacher's perspective it was quite obvious, especially since she used so much force. No one was a fool. Children's supposedly clever tricks were often seen through by adults. "All right, wait a moment. I'll go with Xiaoxian to the classroom to get his backpack and listen to what happened these past 2 days," Lin Fengwan said, about to pull Lu Xiaoxian away. "Xiaoshuan's mom." As her hand touched the doorknob of the office, Tang Guoguo's mother called out to her. Lin Fengwan turned around and saw Tang Guoguo's mother forcing a smile. "Look at this mess. It's just children playing around. We adults don't need to worry about it, right, Guoguo?" "Right." Someone offered her a way out, and Tang Guoguo shrank back and took it. "Actually, I don't remember clearly if he pushed me or not. Maybe he really didn't. And I remembered wrong. Lin Fengwan looked at them with a faint smile. It's better to verify, just in case we're wronging an innocent person. Verify? How to verify? The more Tang Guogua thought about it, the more panicked she became. If she really went, not only would her framing of Lu Shaoxian be exposed, but her bullying and ostracizing of Lu Shaoxian these past days would also be discovered. Thinking about her taunts towards Lu Shaoxian and her attitude before and after, if this was exposed, what kind of person would the teacher think she was? It couldn't be discovered. Even if the framing was discovered, the other things couldn't be. He didn't push me, Tang Guogua said loudly without thinking. She looked at Teacher Xiaoya in a panic, bowed, and admitted her mistake. I'm sorry, Teacher Xiaoya. It was my fault. Lu Shaoxian didn't push me. I pushed Qiuqiu. She started crying again, looking like she genuinely regretted her actions. Teacher Xiaoya looked at Lu Shaoxian and then at Tang Guogua and asked softly, Shaoxian, Qiuqiu, what do you want to do? Qiuqiu looked at Tang Guogua crying so sadly and hesitated. Maybe we should just let it go, he said softly. He didn't feel any pain from being pushed, and he felt that Tang Guogua was quite pitiful. But Lu Shaoxian remembered the night at the cinema when he cried his heart out but was still forced to watch the movie until 3 in the morning. He learned then that apologies were useful but not everything. The consequences of a mistake depended on the feelings of the person you hurt, not just because you apologized and felt remorseful that you could be easily forgiven. He didn't want to forgive. However, he also knew that his mother had never given him a voice recorder. It was a lie to trick Tang Guogua, and Tang Guogua confessed because of it. If he really wanted to pursue it, he actually had no evidence. You have to apologize to Qiuqiu, Lu Shaoxian said.
Qiuqiu, imsuri.
Tang Guogua said promptly. Lu Shaoxian was still unhappy but didn't dwell on it, letting the matter end there. In the end, Tang Guogua suffered no consequences. Why? She didn't even have to apologize in front of the whole school. Although Lu Shaoxian requested it, before he could finish she started crying and apologizing to him non-stop. So everyone asked him to let it go. Then why was he forced to apologize in front of the whole school when he did nothing wrong? The more he thought about it, the more frustrated he became. He couldn't help but think if he had a voice recorder. Mom, I want a voice recorder. He looked up at Lin Fengwan fuming. Sure, Lin Fengwan said. But I was lying to them. The current voice recorders don't have that much storage, but you can turn it on in advance when you need it. I want it, Lu Shaoxian said. It wasn't something inappropriate, and Lin Fengwan usually chose to satisfy him. Although voice recorders weren't cheap, they weren't that expensive for her either. As for feeling bad about the money, not at all. It was his own mother's money. Since she wasn't taking on the responsibility of educating him, didn't cook, didn't do housework, didn't help with his studies, didn't want to deal with his troubles, wasn't working hard but enjoying life, then naturally she shouldn't touch his money, at least not the initial 1 million. She should leave it for him. Just the interest from depositing it in the bank each month was enough for him to live well. She said she would give him 100 yuan a day when he started elementary school, which was calculated based on this. With this money in the bank, a long-term deposit would yield 3,000 yuan in interest each month, just enough for his pocket money. After all, money would become less valuable in the future, so it was better to spend it while it had purchasing power. As for the future, Lu Shaoxian would go find his father when he grew up, right? Then she wouldn't need to support him, and he wouldn't be short of money.